This woman, recently released from prison, was met with a barrage of eggs and flour, the first egg cracking against her head. The crowd chanted, a chorus of condemnation. Evil woman, she likely crumpled under the onslaught. The woman's name is Park Jae-hye. 2 years prior, her husband murdered their child, and Park Jae-hye served a mere 2-year sentence for burning the body to cover up the crime. The leniency of the sentence sparked widespread public outrage. Cha Woo-kyung, a child psychologist who lost her own mother at a young age, was captivated by Park Jae-hye's case on the news. Such stories fueled her anger. She even drove past Park Jae-hye's house, noting the hateful graffiti scrawled across the walls. Inside, Park Jae-hye purged her home of anything that reminded her of the child, discarding everything in the trash. She tore the child's image from a family photo, seemingly determined to erase any trace of the child's existence. Cha Woo-kyung visited her younger sister in the hospital. Years earlier, a car accident left her sister in a vegetative state. Woo-kyung and her stepmother shared the responsibility of her care. Their conversation drifted to Park Jae-hye. Her stepmother argued that 2 years in prison was sufficient atonement, questioning the need for further persecution. Cha Woo-kyung vehemently disagreed, believing that burning the child's body was an unforgivable act. Mid-argument, her sister's eyes flickered open. An ecstatic Cha Woo-kyung immediately called her husband, Kim Min-seok, a successful and wealthy businessman with a beautiful secretary on the side. He cautioned her against getting too excited, advising her to listen to the doctors, then abruptly ended the call. Late that night, a car pulled into an abandoned amusement park. Flames erupted, quickly engulfing the vehicle. Detective Kang Jae-hun was called to the scene. Only the charred frame remained, the body inside burned beyond recognition. Further investigation was required. The car was registered to Kim Ha-dong, Park Jae-hye's husband. He went to Park Jae-hye's apartment to investigate. The door was unlocked, the apartment empty. He picked up a torn family photo. On the back, a message, "When the moon rises over the desert field." Cha Woo-kyung and her husband went to the hospital for a checkup. They were expecting a child. Despite her pregnancy, Woo-kyung continued to work. After leaving the hospital, she had a counseling appointment. A few days prior, a young boy had inexplicably fallen down the stairs, severely breaking his arm. During their session, he told Cha Woo-kyung that having children wasn't a good thing. When asked why, he explained that his sister had died. He claimed that while playing, he saw his sister, which drew him towards the stairs, resulting in his fall. A car drove along an overpass. A large truck ahead suddenly changed lanes. A girl in a blue dress appeared in the road. The woman slammed on the brakes, but it was too late. The car struck the child. The woman stumbled out, horrified, collapsing at the sight of the small body. At the police station, a pale Cha Woo-kyung received news from the police that the hospital had pronounced the boy dead. "That's wrong," she exclaimed. "Wait, it was a little girl in the accident, not a boy." The officer was confused. The dashcam footage clearly showed a boy. Cha Woo-kyung insisted she saw a girl. Her husband and the officer tried to comfort her, suggesting she was in shock. Meanwhile, the body from the amusement park fire was identified as Park Jae-hye, the woman released from prison just days earlier. An unexpected arrest was made. It was a conclusion everyone seemed to want. Seeking more information, Detective Kang Jae-hun interviewed Park Jae-hye's imprisoned husband, asking if anyone held a grudge against them. The man replied that everyone wanted them dead, but he was certain of one thing: his wife would never have committed suicide. Since the child's family couldn't be located and the accident occurred in a lane designated for cars, the police suspended the investigation. Cha Woo-kyung's husband was relieved, believing she wouldn't be prosecuted. However, guilt consumed Cha Woo-kyung, convinced she caused the child's death, leading to a heated argument with her husband. Determined to find Park Jae-hye's killer, Detective Kang Jae-hun began investigating the protesters present at her release. The autopsy revealed a high concentration of anesthetic in Park Jae-hye's blood, suggesting she was unconscious before her death. Since she hadn't interacted with anyone after her release, the protesters were the only point of contact. Among the protesters, besides organized citizen groups, were 7 unidentified individuals. Kang Jae-hun's colleague then provided new information. 2 years prior, when Park Jae-hye was imprisoned, A protest group called Our Children had formed. The 7 unidentified individuals likely belonged to this group. Coincidentally, Cha Woo-kyung was a member of Our Children. Unable to reach her, Kang Jae-hun visited Kim Min-seok's company to inquire about her. While leaving, he encountered his recently ex-girlfriend, Kim Min-seok's beautiful secretary. He pleaded for reconciliation, but she no longer harbored feelings for him. Days later, Cha Woo-kyung attended the cremation of the young accident victim. She felt a presence behind her and turned to see the girl in the blue dress again. She chased after her, but the girl remained close, just out of reach. As Cha Woo-kyung searched for the girl, Kang Jae-hun approached, questioning her about the protests 2 years prior. She admitted to being part of the self-formed group and suggested that Park Jae-hye's death was karmic retribution. Kang Jae-hun reminded her that murder was a crime. Before leaving, he asked Cha Woo-kyung to identify any Our Children members among the photos of protesters from Park Jae-hye's release. She recognized a doctor who volunteered medical services. Further investigation revealed that the doctor had been suspended 2 months prior for transferring large quantities of anesthetic. His phone's location placed him in his hometown. Kang Jae-hun raced there. Still tormented by the boy's death, Cha Woo-kyung returned to the police station. Tears welled as she looked at the boy's clothes. She noticed something stuck to the sole of his shoe. It was a drawing with a like symbol in the bottom right corner. On the back, a message in Korean, "When the moon rises over the desert field." Cha Woo-kyung froze, her eyes widening in terror. A memory surfaced, and she dropped the drawing. "The next line of that poem is 'Eat a child,'" she whispered. A man entered a room. A scream erupted. He rushed inside, stunned by the scene. A woman was stabbing a man in the stomach. Kang Jae-hun aimed his gun at the woman, ordering her to drop the knife. She raised her hands, and he moved to restrain her. She frantically identified herself as Jeon Soo-young, a detective from the 2nd Division, not a murderer. The police arrived. Kang Jae-hun questioned his superior about the woman. He was told she was his newly assigned assistant. Despite her being a detective, Kang Jae-hun had witnessed her commit murder. He interrogated Jeon Soo-young, demanding to know why she killed the man. She was now the prime suspect in Park Jae-hye's murder. Jeon Soo-young claimed it was her first day at the station. No one greeted or acknowledged her. Later, the superior informed her she was assigned to Kang Jae-hun's team. Seeing him pursuing a suspect, she went to investigate alone. Riding a motorcycle, she avoided traffic and reached the man's house first. Initially, she planned to wait for Kang Jae-hun to enter together, but a blood-curdling scream suddenly erupted from inside the house. Jeon Soo-young smashed the window, rushed into the room, and found a man attempting suicide. She quickly wrestled the knife away from him. However, determined to die, the man lunged at the knife once more. At that moment, Kang Jae-hun arrived at the scene and mistakenly believed Jeon Soo-young had stabbed the man to death. Jeon Soo-young identified herself as a police officer and stated she was only doing her duty. The forensic results quickly confirmed the man had indeed committed suicide. Before his death, he left a suicide note. "I have dealt with the demon who murdered my child. I have completed my mission." Handwriting analysis confirmed the note was written by Park Yan-tae. Photographs of him stalking Park Jae-hye before the incident were also discovered in his house. He had also purchased gasoline from a gas station, confirming him as Park Jae-hye's murderer. However, how he lured Park Jae-hye to the crime scene remained unknown, as both were now deceased. The Park Jae-hye case was closed with the man's suicide. However, Kang Jae-hun felt it wasn't that simple. He believed someone capable of burning a person alive must have a strong sense of mission. Furthermore, Park Jae-hye wasn't the only one who had killed her own child. He suspected it could be a serial murder case. His superior scolded him, saying, "We can't grasp 100% of a criminal's psychology, nor do we need a perfect match. As long as we catch the criminal and get a conviction, that's enough." Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung showed the boy's drawing to Yoon Tae-ju. Yoon Tae-ju remarked that the boy was very talented and had drawn many details well, but he hadn't drawn his own mouth. This suggested the boy felt he lacked a sense of existence and was likely neglected and ignored. Furthermore, Yoon Tae-ju noticed a girl in the drawing, possibly the boy's younger sister. Cha Woo-kyung immediately remembered the girl in the green dress she had seen. Could she be the boy's sister? She reported the new clue to the police, hoping they would continue the investigation. She then approached her husband, suggesting he publicize it online, given his expertise in the field. However, her husband refused, insisting it was the police's job and told Cha Woo-kyung to drop it. They argued and parted on bad terms. Later, Cha Woo-kyung visited her sister in the hospital. She then received a call from her stepmother, who said she couldn't pick up her granddaughter, Kim Yoon-seo, from kindergarten. Worried and experiencing intense abdominal pain, Cha Woo-kyung doubled over but, enduring the pain, rushed to the kindergarten. Everyone searched around the kindergarten and immediately notified the police. Suddenly, Cha Woo-kyung heard a child's laughter nearby. She went to the backyard to investigate. A greenhouse caught her attention. Opening the door, she found her daughter playing with a man. Kim Yoon-seo, delighted to see her mother, exclaimed, "The mister gave me a ride on a spaceship." Cha Woo-kyung walked towards the man and slapped him. Her stomach cramped again. In a fleeting moment, she saw the girl in the green dress. Meanwhile, the police discovered a man dead in a car. A burnt briquette sat on the passenger seat. They found 3 million Korean won and a note of apology inside the vehicle. The suspected deceased was On Suk-won. There were no external injuries, suggesting a typical suicide scene. Further investigation was required. Due to the stress of her daughter's near abduction, Cha Woo-kyung suffered a miscarriage. After 6 months of recovery, she returned to work. The first child she counseled that afternoon was Han Shi-won, the boy who had previously fallen down the stairs. This session wasn't about the previous incident, however. The secretary informed her that the boy had pushed a classmate down the stairs, necessitating mandatory treatment. During the counseling session, Han Shi-won bit his nails constantly, appearing very tense. He looked up at the ceiling, where a leak dripped water steadily. Cha Woo-kyung wiped the water off the table and asked, "Han Shi-won, why did you push your classmate down the stairs?" Han Shi-won replied, "Just curious." Cha Woo-kyung, hearing this, asked him what he was curious about. Han Shi-won said, "Curious if they would die from falling down the stairs." His answer startled Cha Woo-kyung. Han Shi-won then asked Cha Woo-kyung, "Was the baby born?" Cha Woo-kyung asked, "What baby?" He asked again, "Is the baby in your tummy still alive?" At that moment, a drop of water unexpectedly fell onto Cha Woo-kyung's face. She stared at Han Shi-won, who stood there, seemingly dazed. After the session, Cha Woo-kyung went to Kim Min-seok's office building and called him, asking if he wanted to have dinner together. Kim Min-seok said he would be working late at the company and hung up. As Cha Woo-kyung was about to leave, she saw Kim Min-seok driving out of the company. She decided to follow him. At the same time, Kang Jae-hun located On Suk-won's wife and brought her to the police station to identify the body. Throughout the journey, the woman appeared reluctant, seemingly indifferent to her husband's death. While they were talking, Kang Jae-hun suddenly stopped the car because he saw his ex-girlfriend. Then, a man got out of the car. It was Kim Min-seok. The two acted intimately. Not only did Kang Jae-hun witness this scene, but Cha Woo-kyung also saw it, finding it unbelievable. She got out of her car and banged on Kim Min-seok's car. Although she had suspected her husband's infidelity, seeing it firsthand was still unacceptable. Kang Jae-hun quickly got out of his car to stop her. Kim Min-seok, seeing this, shielded his secretary behind him and then left with her. Seeing that Cha Woo-kyung was still distraught, Kang Jae-hun drove her home. At the police station, the woman identified the deceased as her husband. She explained that he had attempted to hang himself half a month prior and hadn't been reachable due to unpaid phone bills. She claimed her husband talked about wanting to die every day because they had been broke for so long. Jeon Soo-young mentioned finding 3 million won in On Suk-won's car and asked if that triggered any memories. The woman's eyes lit up. She looked at the wrapped cash in the evidence locker and asked Jeon Soo-young if she could have it. Jeon Soo-young explained that all belongings would be returned to the family after the case concluded. The woman became visibly excited. After the interrogation, Jeon Soo-young examined On Suk-won's belongings again. Holding the wrapped 3 million won, she noticed a line written on the newspaper. "It's the laughter of beasts, sweet as crying." The woman returned home and ransacked the apartment. Finally, she found an insurance policy her husband had taken out before his death, worth 150 million won. Overjoyed, she clutched the policy to her chest. Her daughter, hearing the commotion, came to see what was happening. The woman told her daughter that her father was dead and then burst out laughing. Late that night, Cha Woo-kyung sat alone in the meticulously decorated nursery, laughing vacantly. Kim Min-seok told her the baby was dead and would never come back. Cha Woo-kyung pulled him close and asked, "What about you? Will you come back?" But Kim Min-seok remained silent. Enraged, Cha Woo-kyung grabbed an object and hit him with it. She wondered when her anger had started, where it had originated. Was it from her husband's betrayal? No, the answer was more cruel. It was because she considered herself an unpunished murderer. She felt immense guilt over the boy who had died in the car accident. At that moment, a voice called out to her. Cha Woo-kyung turned to see the girl in the green dress. The girl slowly approached Cha Woo-kyung, stroking her cheek, offering silent comfort. The man who died mysteriously in the car, his wife and child, showed no grief but instead celebrated. The daughter even cheerfully gave a thumbs up, declaring, "Dad's death is great." The death of their loved one didn't affect their lives at all. The only impact was they were about to receive a 150 million won insurance payout. On Jeon Soo-young's side, she re-examined On Suk-won's belongings, finding no further suspicious points. She was reporting the conclusion of the case as a suicide to Kang Jae-hun, but he felt that things weren't that simple. On Suk-won worked elsewhere, so how could anyone contact him without a phone? Moreover, even though there were no surveillance cameras at the scene, dashcams from nearby vehicles could have recorded something. Kang Jae-hun rebuked Jeon Soo-young, saying that she had prematurely concluded it was a suicide and therefore missed clues. Jeon Soo-young had to reinvestigate. She asked a colleague to check for phones registered under On Suk-won's name and indeed found one in use. Subsequently, she searched the car and discovered the phone lodged in the gap of the driver's seat. Meanwhile, Kang Jae-hun was conducting a preliminary examination of the body. There was a clear burn scar on Suk-won's face. If it were truly a suicide, he wouldn't have been able to endure the pain from the burn. The briquettes in the car must have suddenly ignited, and at that point, On Suk-won might have been unconscious or already dead. Although everything was currently conjecture, he hoped the forensic team would examine the body soon and provide results. As for Cha Woo-kyung, since she still hadn't found the young boy's family, she visited the police station to inquire again. But the policewoman had searched through the missing children's list without finding any leads. Cha Woo-kyung wrote down the boy's whereabouts before the car accident and posted missing person notices nearby. Elsewhere, Kang Jae-hun and Jeon Soo-young went together to the scene of On Suk-won's death, a parking space just big enough to turn On Suk-won's car around, but with no attendant and no records. Finding the owner of the car parked there wouldn't be easy. So, Kang Jae-hun asked the owner of a nearby restaurant to keep an eye out for anyone parking there around lunchtime. Soo-young showed Kang Jae-hun a phrase from a newspaper. "The laughter of beasts is as sweet as crying." It was a line from the poem The Kiss by the writer Seo Trang-chu. The handwriting was completely different from On Suk-won's. Jeon Soo-young judged the possibility of murder to be higher. By unlocking On Suk-won's phone, they discovered that he had made a total of 3 calls before the incident. One call was to Kang Jae-hun's acquaintance Cha Woo-kyung. The two sought out Cha Woo-kyung to inquire about the situation. While waiting, Kang Jae-hun saw the drawing of the boy from the car accident, and the verse on the back was, "When the moon rises over the desert." He also learned that Cha Woo-kyung was On Suk-won's daughter's therapist, regularly checking on the child's psychological state. So's mother didn't have a phone number, so she had to contact So through On Suk-won. So had to go to therapy because she and her mother were constantly being beaten by On Suk-won. They questioned Cha Woo-kyung about her whereabouts before and after the incident, then returned to the police station. Sitting at his desk, Kang Jae-hun kept repeating the phrase, "When the moon rises over the desert." He asked Jeon Soo-young if she'd heard it before. She said it was a line from the poem The Leper by Seo Trang-chu. "When the moon rises over the desert, eat a child." The leper refers to people with leprosy. Legend has it that eating children would cure the disease. Eating a child here meant abusing children. At this moment, Kang Jae-hun suddenly realized something. He reviewed Park Jae-hai's case file. The back of the torn family photo had the words, "When the moon rises over the desert." Elsewhere, Cha Woo-kyung and Kim Min-seok went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize their divorce. Afterward, they shared a farewell meal. Kim Min-seok, seeing that Cha Woo-kyung was fine and no longer felt guilty about the boy in the car accident, felt relieved. Just then, Cha Woo-kyung received a phone call. Standing up, she accidentally dropped her bag. Kim Min-seok saw the missing person notice inside and questioned why she hadn't let it go. Their farewell meal ended in an argument. Cha Woo-kyung returned to her car. A figure flashed in the rearview mirror. The girl in the green dress reappeared. Cha Woo-kyung followed her in her car and saw her go up to the rooftop. So, she went up to the rooftop. The girl was standing there, facing her. On a pouring rainy night, Kang Jae-hun knocked a man to the ground with a bin, then slammed him down with an over-the-shoulder throw. Just as Jeon Soo-young was about to handcuff the man, he resisted. Soo-young flew into a furious flurry of blows, starting to lose control. Fortunately, Kang Jae-hun intervened before things escalated. On Suk-won had called the man, but the man claimed they had only gambled together and seemed unaware of On Suk-won's death. Arriving at her office, Cha Woo-kyung found a gift from Han Shi-won, an elaborate model house. Inside were figures of her parents and Han Shi-won himself. Then, she noticed a piece of paper under a blanket. It mentioned Cha Woo-kyung's younger sister. Searching carefully within the model, she finally found the sister figure tucked away in the stairwell. Looking up from the model, she saw the girl in the green dress again. Cha Woo-kyung approached, demanding the girl prove her existence. If she were real, Cha Woo-kyung would save her. The girl pointed to a leak in the ceiling. The water stain grew larger and larger, finally bursting. Water cascaded down. Cha Woo-kyung jolted awake. It had been a nightmare. Meanwhile, unable to contact On Suk-won's wife, Kang Jae-hun and Jeon Soo-young went to his house, following the location of his phone. They discovered he had been lingering near the house, but the woman claimed her husband had gone to hang himself. She also said he didn't have a phone. Kang Jae-hun suspected the woman was trying to kill her husband for the insurance money. She insisted she hadn't killed him. The day before his death, he had been like a beast, beating her and their daughter. Such incidents had occurred frequently before. The next morning, when she woke up, her husband was gone. She was in so much pain she couldn't move and stayed home all day. Her husband had been the one who told her to go hang herself. She cried, claiming she truly hadn't killed him. Kang Jae-hun asked the woman to rewrite the phrase from the newspaper. "The laughter of a beast is like crying." Back at the police station, he compared the handwriting, finding it wasn't a match. But one phenomenon made him suspicious. Every time a strange death occurred, poetry was found nearby. The medical examiner examined On Suk-won's body and found he had been intoxicated before his death. A large amount of sedatives was present in his system. The cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning from the briquettes. Under the combined effects of alcohol and drugs, even if the burning briquettes had scorched his face, he wouldn't have been able to react. Kang Jae-hun recalled the suspicious points of the case. He suddenly thought of the drawing of the boy from the accident, where Cha Woo-kyung had been present. There was a verse on the back of that drawing too, so he turned the car around to find Cha Woo-kyung. After her nightmare, Cha Woo-kyung had called a repairman, Yoon-ho, to fix her ceiling. Because she had lashed out and hit Yoon-ho during her daughter's disappearance, she sincerely apologized to him now. As he was leaving, Yoon-ho saw Kang Jae-hun arrive and quickly lowered his head, walking in the other direction. Kang Jae-hun mentioned seeing the drawing on her desk before, asking Cha Woo-kyung who the boy in the picture was. He also pulled out Park Jae-hai's family photo. The verses were the same. Cha Woo-kyung was surprised. She told Kang Jae-hun that although she knew who drew it, the child had died in a car accident. That evening, as Cha Woo-kyung was preparing to go home, she accidentally dropped the model house Han Shi-won had given her. Seeing the image of her sister in the model, she remembered the girl in the green dress. And in that moment, she remembered the girl pointing at the ceiling. Cha Woo-kyung ascended the stairs, step by step. She arrived at an abandoned storage room, walking past tattered clothes. Cha Woo-kyung saw the scene before her. Spray painted on the wall was the verse, life rots and collapses, heavy with sin. Below the verse was a desiccated female corpse. Due to the darkness and the nearly month-long time since death, the body was completely dried out. At the scene, they discovered the deceased's ID card, learning her name was Lee Yeonju. Beside her was an asthma inhaler. Because Cha Woo-kyung had discovered the body, Kang Jae-hun questioned her. Upon meeting, Cha Woo-kyung spoke about the verse in the storage room. She told him that finding verses at every crime scene couldn't be a coincidence. Kang Jae-hun was about to ask her why she was at the storage room, but seeing her distress, he stopped. On Soo-young's side, she'd been trying to reach Yoon-ho, the person in charge of the children's center's surveillance equipment, for nearly a month to retrieve the footage. Since the center provided accommodation, Yoon-ho also served as the night security guard. Soo-young arrived at Yoon-ho's room while he was extracting the video. Cartoon figurines lined the walls, and photos of children were displayed on his desk. Because there were signs of long-term habitation in the storage room, Jeon Soo-young asked Yoon-ho if he had noticed anyone in the building during his patrols. Yoon-ho replied that the storage room was essentially abandoned. Many staff members weren't even aware of its existence. Reviewing the surveillance footage revealed that Hisun had entered the children's center 28 days prior. The writing on the storage room wall was spray-painted. They couldn't determine any distinguishing characteristics of the handwriting. Furthermore, because spray paint dries quickly, they couldn't estimate the time it was written, leaving the case with no leads. However, while researching Hun, they discovered she had an ex-husband. When the two detectives visited him, he had just returned home. He stated that he had been divorced from Lee Hun for almost a year and hadn't seen her during that time. He seemed surprised to learn of his ex-wife's death. Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung visited her younger sister in the hospital. When her stepmother learned that she and Kim Min-seok had divorced, she blamed Cha Woo-kyung for not taking better care of him, despite knowing that Kim Min-seok had been seeing another woman. Cha Woo-kyung became agitated and yelled at her stepmother, asking why everything was her fault. Her father's death, her sister's disability, and even her husband's infidelity. But then, her stepmother slapped her. Cha Woo-kyung suddenly calmed down but appeared terrified. She grabbed her stepmother's hand and repeatedly apologized. After her stepmother left, Cha Woo-kyung cried and trembled. It took a long time for her to regain her composure. At the police station, the man identified the body as his ex-wife. Jeon Soo-young asked him if she had any friends or acquaintances. The man said Lee Yeonju was an orphan who rarely went out and had no friends or relatives. After they were together, Lee Hun was diagnosed with asthma. Their divorce was due to a dull and stressful life. Cha Woo-kyung ran into Han Shiwan while at work. To her surprise, Shiwan already knew about the body found at the children's center. But he mentioned a little girl, about 6 years old with short hair, who lived in the building and drew pictures downstairs every day. This reminded Cha Woo-kyung of the girl in the green dress, who also appeared before her at that moment. Kang Jae-hun had and Sukon's wife identify the man purchasing charcoal briquettes in the surveillance footage. It was her husband. She also said that he had been preparing to commit suicide. Kang Jae-hun informed her that the autopsy concluded the cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning with no signs of foul play, suggesting suicide. Upon hearing this, the woman wasn't upset, but instead inquired about the 3 million won found in her husband's car. Jeon Soo-young said they would return the deceased's belongings to her. The woman smiled after hearing this. After signing the receipt, she successfully claimed the 3 million won. At this point, Kang Jae-hun received a phone call. Cha Woo-kyung wanted to know the identity of the deceased in the storage room. However, since the details of the investigation couldn't be disclosed yet, Kang Jae-hun didn't tell her. Cha Woo-kyung asked if the deceased had a daughter. Kang Jae-hun said no, as the deceased was an orphan. After hanging up, Cha Woo-kyung returned to the storage room, hoping to find some clues. She discovered a child's bracelet on the floor. It was a Demon King bracelet, a popular item for the past 2 months. She believed a child had been in the storage room and had disappeared suddenly after Lee Hun's death. Cha Woo-kyung hoped Kang Jae-hun could help find the child. But Kang Jae-hun presented photos from the crime scene, which showed nothing related to a child. Furthermore, there was no record of a child in Lee Hun's identification information. Her only known relative was her ex-husband. Cha Wu-kyung suggested that perhaps she hadn't registered the child after giving birth. But Kang Jae-hun remained unconvinced and told Cha Wu-kyung to drop it. Cha Wu-kyung became agitated, suggesting the killer might have murdered Lee Yeon-ju and then kidnapped the child. Moreover, she pointed out that all the cases, besides the deaths and poems, shared another commonality: children. Children who were abused or abandoned. This statement seemed to strike a chord with Kang Jae-hun. During the autopsy, he had specifically asked the medical examiner if Lee Hun had given birth. The medical examiner confirmed that she had, likely a few years ago. This made him start to believe Cha Wu-kyung. Cha Wu-kyung obtained Lee Hun's file from the police station. She went to Lee Hun's ex-husband's house, lying that she was conducting research on special cases. She asked about the deceased, Lee Yeon-ju. The man explained that about 10 years ago, while collecting scrap, he found Lee Yeon-ju among discarded clothes. From then on, she followed him around as he worked. Over time, they developed feelings for each other and lived together for about 7 years. During that time, Lee Hun constantly wanted to leave. When Cha Wu-kyung asked about a child, the man denied having any children and expressed his dislike for them. At that moment, someone called him outside. Cha Wu-kyung began searching the room but found nothing useful. Seeing the man selling dogs, she quietly went to a shed in the backyard, a place filled with various butchering tools. Cha Wu-kyung opened another door in the shed. Inside, it looked like someone had been living there. Crayon drawings covered the walls. Furthermore, she discovered a pregnancy book in the closet. Suddenly, the man burst in, mistaking Cha Wu-kyung for a burglar. He apprehended her and called the police. Kang Jae-hun happened to arrive just as this was happening. He, too, had wanted to ask the man about the child. The man laughed in exasperation, wondering why everyone was asking about a child. He argued that even though they were once married, it didn't mean he knew everything about Lee Yeon-ju. He had no idea where she might have given birth. Kang Jae-hun gained no new information and was even confronted by the man, who questioned him about revealing his personal information. Kang Jae-hun apologized. They met outside the police station. Cha Wu-kyung was charged with trespassing, and the man filed a complaint against Kang Jae-hun for disclosing private information. Finding themselves in a similar predicament, they decided to grab a bite to eat. During the meal, Kang Jae-hun asked Cha Wu-kyung why she had gone up to the shed when the leaky roof had already been fixed. He also questioned why she was going to such lengths for a child whose existence was uncertain. Although Cha Wu-kyung doubted Kang Jae-hun would believe her, she shared what she had seen. She told him, "That child told me there was a dead body there." Kang Jae-hun was stunned by her words. Back at the police station, Kang Jae-hun continued to ponder the deaths accompanied by poems. They all seemed to be connected to children. Perhaps Cha Wu-kyung was right. Maybe there had been a child living in the storage room along with the deceased Lee Yeon-ju. A few days later, Cha Wu-kyung received a call. Kang Jae-hun had found the child at an orphanage. They went to the orphanage. While waiting, Cha Wu-kyung noticed a drawing in the corner. The writing on it was Seo Jeong-ju's poem Leper. When the moon rises over the desert, eat a child. Just then, the door opened. A shy little girl hid behind a woman, revealing wide eyes and short, cropped hair. The girl before her resembled the one she had seen wide-eyed with short hair, but wasn't the same girl from her hallucinations. The girl's name was Hana. She had been found near the orphanage a month earlier with a mild developmental disability. She hadn't spoken anything other than her name and had never asked for her mother. The director assumed she was an orphan. During their conversation, Cha Wu-kyung inquired about the leper drawing, feeling it was inappropriate for a children's environment. The director explained that the drawing had always been there in the corner, unnoticed. Besides, she considered it a beautiful, albeit sad, poem. Cha Wu-kyung also asked the director to look at the photo of the boy from the car accident. The director confirmed that it wasn't any of the children at the orphanage. Kang Jae-hun and Jeon Soo-young went to the backyard where Hana had been found. She had been lying on the grass like that. She was discovered at 6 a.m. It had been very cold. If she had been there all night, she would have frozen to death. The dog in front of them had saved her. The dog, normally docile, had barked loudly that morning. Someone investigated and found the child. The suspect wanted Hana to be found, but also wanted a clean getaway. So, they left her in the backyard where the camera was broken, and there was a dog, and then escaped through the small path behind the mountain. They clearly knew the orphanage well. Two people brought Ha-na to the children's center. As soon as the car stopped, the little girl ran off on her own, expertly opened a window, and jumped inside. Then she went to the abandoned storage room upstairs. It seemed she was very familiar with the place, even though this child wasn't the one from Cha Woo-kyung's hallucination. But at least they were on the right track. Afterwards, Cha Woo-kyung took Ha-na home. The two children interacted as if they'd known each other, playing happily together. After midnight, Ha-na, lying alone on the floor, muttered a threat to break someone's neck if they spoke again. The next morning, Kang Jae-hun visited Lee Yeon-ju's ex-husband, bringing a case of beer. The man watched Ha-na's video, claiming he didn't recognize her at all. Moreover, he insisted that if they did have a child, it would be a result of Lee Yeon-ju's infidelity. Kang Jae-hun questioned the man about his whereabouts before and after the incident. Annoyed, the man retrieved his notebook. Kang Jae-hun took the opportunity to collect the beer the man had been drinking for forensic analysis. The notebook indicated the man had been fishing for 3 days and 2 nights, encompassing the time of the incident. But Kang Jae-hun was clearly unconvinced. Unfortunately, the man believed Kang Jae-hun was on a wild goose chase, asserting his innocence. Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung took Ha-na shopping for art supplies. She observed the girl's lively and inquisitive nature. Aside from her delayed speech development, Ha-na seemed like any other child. The slow speech, they deduced, was due to her mother's neglect. She hadn't spoken to Ha-na or cared for her. The girl's condition had improved after her mother's death. If this was the perpetrator's intention, it was a benevolent one. But murder was still a heinous crime. Back at the police station, Kang Jae-hun connected the deceased individuals and the child. If this was a judgment against the wrongs they had committed against the child, then who was this man? If the man at the slaughterhouse was indeed Ha-na's father, perhaps he wasn't the perpetrator, but a victim. Jeon Soo-young's investigation confirmed the man had indeed been fishing at the pond. However, due to erased surveillance footage, they couldn't definitively confirm his presence there for the entire 3 days and 2 nights. Currently, Ha-na was their only lead, but she refused to speak about her mother. Even during play, when Cha Woo-kyung tried to incorporate the mother figure, Ha-na repeatedly removed it. When Kang Jae-hun suggested including the father, Ha-na repeated the phrase she had muttered the night before, "You dare say it again, and I'll snap your neck." Both adults were startled. Kang Jae-hun asked who had said those words. Ha-na made a shush gesture. Elsewhere, a woman was elated. Her husband had committed suicide, and she expected to receive a 150 million won insurance payout. Upon learning that suicide wasn't covered, she caused a scene at the insurance company. She then went to the police station, claiming her husband had been murdered, not having committed suicide. She pointed out that the apology note was written on a piece of paper with a phone number meant to be left on a parked car. However, the team leader quickly exposed her scheme. Her accusations were merely a ploy to collect the insurance money. The team leader promptly arrested the woman, causing her to panic and flee the police station. Afterwards, the team leader instructed Jeon Soo-young not to inform Kang Jae-hun, as he had overcomplicated the case, creating extra work for the police. Jeon Soo-young revisited Ahn Suk-won's file. She discovered a telltale tear mark on the note. The next day, they began reviewing vehicle records. They identified a van belonging to the orphanage where Ha-na had lived. When questioned, a mechanic confirmed it was his van, but he hadn't been driving it. He had recently lent it to a friend, Yoon-ho, from the orphanage. Adding to the coincidence, Kang Jae-hun learned Lon had grown up in the same orphanage where Ha-na had been found. While providing counseling, Cha Woo-kyung noticed a seal on Lon's drawing that resembled one on a drawing by the deceased boy. Lon explained it wasn't a seal but a drawing made by Yoon-ho. Cha Woo-kyung immediately sought out Yoon-ho, showing him the deceased boy's picture. Yoon-ho had no recollection, as he had drawn the seal for many people. He couldn't remember everyone, especially those he hadn't seen regularly. However, upon seeing the poem on the back, a thoughtful expression crossed Yoon-ho's face. At that moment, Jae-hun arrived and brought Yoon-ho to the police station for questioning. Upon seeing Ha-na's photo, Yoon-ho claimed he didn't know her. Although he was the night security guard at the children's center, he only made a cursory patrol once a night and had never encountered the mother and daughter. Jae-han asked about his whereabouts the day before Ha-na was discovered. Yoon-ho initially stated he worked all day and slept in the dormitory as usual. However, when shown surveillance footage, he changed his story, claiming he was driving somewhere, sticking to this revised alibi. Without evidence, Yoon-ho would be released in 12 hours. Kang Jae-hun turned to Cha Woo-kyung, asking her to find a breakthrough with Ha-na. Cha Woo-kyung argued against pushing the child too hard, leading to a disagreement. Kang Jae-hun recounted a case from a few years prior involving a man found dead with his son in a house fire. Kang Jae-hun had found the boy at an internet cafe, severely traumatized and bearing signs of abuse. The fire was clearly arson. Just hours before, the boy had purchased gasoline at a nearby station and had posted online about killing his father. However, being a minor, he wasn't prosecuted. Lion Ho had appeared and vouched for the boy. Kang Jae-hun suspected Lion Ho's involvement in the arson, but lacked concrete proof. This time, he was determined to get confirmation. After hearing Kang Jae-hun's story, Cha Woo-kyung decided to try again. During playtime, she deliberately placed an inhaler among the toys. Ha-na picked it up, coughing a few times. She recognized it as her mother's. With Cha Woo-kyung's gentle guidance, Ha-na described the perpetrator stepping on the inhaler, ultimately causing her mother's death, then rendering Ha-na unconscious and taking her to the orphanage. The girl described the perpetrator as having a kind face. Kang Jae-hun immediately brought Ha-na to the police station for a lineup. When Yoon-ho appeared, Ha-na instinctively gripped Cha Woo-kyung's hand but remained silent. Jae-hun excitedly pointed at Yoon-ho, urging Ha-na to confirm, but Cha Woo-kyung stopped him. The identification process ended inconclusively. Yoon-ho wasn't released immediately. As he left, he remarked that Kang Jae-hun hadn't changed, never backing down once he had a hunch. Kang Jae-hun responded with a veiled threat, "I hope I don't catch you." Just as everyone left the identification room, Ha-na pointed at Yoon-ho and said, "Uncle played sand." It turned out Yoon-ho had played in the sandbox with the children. Since Ha-na hadn't definitively identified him as the perpetrator, Yoon-ho was released. Feeling desperate, Cha Woo-kyung offered Yoon-ho a ride. During the drive, Ha-na occasionally glanced at him and offered him a lollipop. After getting out, Yoon-ho looked at the picture of the deceased boy. He recalled a charity visit to the orphanage where he saw a boy write a poem on the back of a drawing. "When the moon rises over the desert field," but his memory was hazy. Could this be the boy? Meanwhile, Kang Jae-hun had a significant breakthrough. A witness reported seeing On Suk-won's car parked across the street when the incident occurred. Dashcam footage revealed the perpetrator feigning drinks with On Suk-won in his car, lacing the alcohol with sleeping pills. Once On Suk-won was unconscious, the perpetrator lit a briquette brazier and left the scene. This officially confirmed On Suk-won's death as carbon monoxide poisoning. Jeon Soo-young informed Lion Ho about On Suk-won's wife changing her testimony, claiming her husband was murdered and that the sorry note was torn from a valet parking ticket. While her revised statement was likely an insurance scam, it suggested she knew from the start that her husband had been murdered. At that moment, On Suk-won's wife was texting someone nicknamed Red Tears, asking about other ways to collect the insurance money. The person replied that she was too greedy, and if she continued, she'd end up like her husband dead. The next day, Cha Woo-kyung returned to the orphanage, inquiring about the boy who died in the accident. The director explained that some children stayed only briefly, and the orphanage had no record of the deceased boy. Just as Cha Woo-kyung was looking at the children's bulletin board, she found the little boy. The caregiver said that his father had left him there and abandoned him. The next day, she happened to take the boy along with a group of other children, transferring them to another orphanage. She saw the children get on the bus but wasn't sure if they arrived at the orphanage safely. Due to negligence during the transfer, the boy ran onto the highway and was involved in a tragic traffic accident. After hearing this, Cha Woo-kyung hoped the woman would never work in childcare again. Meanwhile, Kang Jae-hun went to On Suk-won's wife, asking why she had lied. The woman claimed she hadn't been thinking clearly at the time and only just remembered. Kang Jae-hun caught a glimpse of her phone, but she quickly hid it, saying she was only playing games and chatting when she had Wi-Fi. and reproached Kang Jae-hun for pursuing her so relentlessly. After leaving, Kang Jae-hun asked Soo-young to investigate On Suk-won's wife again, as her current behavior was suspicious. Just then, Kang Jae-hun received a phone call. Cha Woo-kyung told him she had discovered the identity of the boy in the accident. Leaving Jeon Soo-young by the roadside, Kang Jae-hun went to find Cha Woo-kyung. Cha Woo-kyung informed him that the boy's name was Young Seok-woo, and he was only 7 years old. Since the boy's name wasn't on the transfer list, the driver had brought him back, but only left him at the orphanage gate. Cha Woo-kyung hoped Kang Jae-hun could help find the boy's family. Back at the police station, Kang Jae-hun asked his colleagues to open an investigation, which led them to the boy's father, Sung H-won. He was only 23, meaning he had his son at 17. Not only that, but he also had a 5-year-old daughter. They went to Sung H-won's house, finding the yard piled with trash and the inside just as messy. Cha Woo-kyung tripped over a toy and fell, startled. Under a large piece of cardboard, she saw a little girl. They rushed her to the hospital. Doctors began emergency treatment on the child. While waiting, the girl in the green dress appeared before Cha Woo-kyung. Passers-by walked right through her, unable to see her. The girl ran out of the room and sat on a chair, waiting for Cha Woo-kyung. Cha Woo-kyung sat with her. Although she didn't know who the girl was, she understood why she appeared to save children in pain. Just as Cha Woo-kyung asked her who she was, Kang Jae-hun approached, telling her the little girl was stable. He'd also ordered a warrant for the girl's father, Sung H-won, and thanked Cha Woo-kyung for saving her. When Cha Woo-kyung turned back, the girl in the green dress had vanished. Kang Jae-hun drove Cha Woo-kyung home. At her door, he asked if she could still see the girl and why she wasn't getting help. Cha Woo-kyung explained that she'd seen a doctor who attributed it to stress, but she was okay with still seeing the girl. After all, the girl had led her to Lee Yeon-ju's daughter, Han-na, in the warehouse, and to the accident victim's sister. She was willing to be considered crazy because her intuitions had been correct so far. Whether it was all coincidence or not, Kang Jae-hun hoped to find the girl in the green dress soon. That day, Cha Woo-kyung received a phone call. The woman claimed to be the mother of Young Seok-woo, the boy in the accident. Believing Cha Woo-kyung had killed her son, they agreed to meet at a cafe. Cha Woo-kyung explained that Young Seok-woo had been in an accident on the highway, likely trying to get home. The woman found this somewhat amusing. While she and the boy's father were trash, Young Seok-woo was incredibly smart. He was rushing home because he loved his sister, Young Hee-soo. Regarding her son's death, the woman simply said, "Pitiful," showing no real grief. Throughout their conversation, she constantly texted and received calls from debt collectors. Cha Woo-kyung showed her the drawing Young Seok-woo had left behind, but the woman didn't even glance at it, asking how much money Cha Woo-kyung would give her. She claimed that if she didn't pay her debts, she'd be abandoned on a deserted island. To expedite the compensation, she offered a discount, asking for only 5 million won. She left some bank card information and then left. Through investigating On Suk-won's wife's insurance records, Jeon Soo-young discovered she had received a total of 35 million won. Each payout was deposited into a separate card. The last deposit, 3 million won, matched the amount found in On Suk-won's car 2 months prior. On Suk-won had also taken out insurance on his daughter. 2 weeks after the policy took effect, his daughter's finger was mysteriously broken. On Suk-won was repeatedly harming his wife and daughter to fraudulently collect insurance money. This provided ample motive for his wife to kill him to protect herself and her daughter. They revisited all the cases. Jeon Soo-young pointed out that Cha Woo-kyung had discovered Lee-sun's body. She'd also provided crucial testimony in the Park Kai case and was the therapist for On Suk-won's daughter. The common thread connecting all these cases was Cha Woo-kyung. That night, Cha Woo-kyung visited On Suk-won's wife again, urging her to visit her son, Young Seok-woo, but the woman refused, calling the place unlucky. Watching the woman's callous retreat, Cha Woo-kyung gripped the steering wheel and accelerated. Her car sped aggressively towards the unsuspecting woman, but at the last moment, Cha Woo-kyung couldn't bring herself to do it, breaking down in tears. The girl in the green dress appeared in a vision, comforting her. At the police station, Kang Jae-hun reviewed the footage of On Suk-won buying charcoal briquettes. He noticed that An Suk-won disappeared after entering the subway. Just then, An Suk-won's wife arrived. Comparing their gaits, they realized they weren't just similar, they were identical. Kang Jae-hun brought An Suk-won's wife in for questioning. All the evidence pointed to her. Although Kang Jae-hun didn't believe she was the murderer, he warned her that lack of cooperation could lead to a conviction once the evidence was handed over to the prosecution. Terrified, the woman broke down, promising to cooperate fully. Kang Jae-hun asked who had instructed her. After hesitating, she mentioned someone with the online nickname Red Cry, describing him as a good person who comforted her and listened to her cry. Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung visited Yoon-ho, asking him to draw a picture based on her detailed description of the girl in the green dress. As the image emerged on the paper, flashes of memory flooded Cha Woo-kyung's mind. Staring at the drawing, a look of terror filled her eyes. A profound and inexplicable fear gripped her. She stammered, I recognize that child." It was a near-perfect crime. The woman had stolen her husband's clothes, disguised herself as him to buy the charcoal, drugged his alcohol, and then, once he was unconscious, burned the briquettes, staging his death as a carbon monoxide suicide. The woman explained how An Suk-won had abused her daily, making her life a living hell. Someone had introduced her to an online support forum where she found others suffering similar abuse. She received comfort and private messages, including one from Red Cry, who suggested that killing her husband was the only way to find happiness, and detailed how to stage a suicide. He added, "Even though your husband is terrible, he is still the child's father." Despite buying the charcoal, the woman had abandoned the plan. Yet, her husband died according to the plan anyway. Kang Jae-hun concluded that Red Cry was the real killer. The woman argued that they only had an online relationship. He wouldn't go that far for her. Cha Woo-kyung, with Yoon-ho's help, now had a portrait of the girl in the green dress. Fleeting memories surfaced but remained elusive. Yoon-ho admitted to a similar experience, recalling something he'd rather have forgotten. Later, Cha Woo-kyung visited her sister in the hospital, showing her stepmother the portrait. The stepmother didn't recognize the girl, but when her sister saw the drawing, her eyes began to flutter rapidly. Woo-kyung's father had once shown her friends photos in an album. That night, relying on childhood memories, she posted a message on her kindergarten's online community, hoping to find clues about the girl in the green dress by asking her former classmates. At the police station, Soo-young looked into the online handle Red Tears and discovered it was connected to Jae-hi. However, Jae-hi's time of death was in March, while the Red Tears account on the support website was created in May. Someone was using the deceased Jae-hi's information to operate the Red Tears account. 5 people had received messages from Red Tears online, all wives and children of abusive husbands. Red Tears urged them to kill their husbands, but only Suk-won's wife fell for the trap. Adding to the poems found at the crime scenes, even though the team leader was reluctant to admit it, he had to acknowledge this was a serial murder case targeting child abusers. If the public found out, they'd likely sympathize with the killer, potentially leading to copycat crimes. To prevent leaks, the team leader agreed to form a task force, but only 3 people could be involved. Late that night, Suk-won's wife called Woo-kyung but hung up immediately after the call connected. The next day, Woo-kyung visited her. The woman said she called only to check on Woo-kyung's safety, worried she'd been arrested. Woo-kyung was shocked. It turned out she had introduced the support website to the woman, leading her to believe Woo-kyung was Red Tears. Woo-kyung was the only one who knew about the woman's struggles, her complaints, and even her plans to exploit her husband's life insurance. The woman had called Woo-kyung multiple times to discuss these things, but Woo-kyung insisted she'd never used the Red Tears ID and hadn't communicated with the woman online. They stared at each other, perplexed. Back home, remembering the woman's words, Woo-kyung opened the support website, found Red Tears, and sent a message, "I'm Woo-kyung. Do you know me?" Meanwhile, Jae-hun and 2 others were organizing their office when he received a DNA report confirming Ha-na was Yeon-ju's ex-husband's daughter. The man was furious. He claimed to know nothing. If she were his daughter, why hadn't he registered her birth? He wasn't afraid of the police, he declared. If they thought he was a child abuser, they needed proof or to let him confront Ha-na. He denied abusing her. lacking evidence, Jai-hun was stuck. Wu Kaiang suggested the man's confidence implied he believed he wouldn't be exposed. Ha-na might have been brainwashed or threatened into silence about any abuse. Jai-hun combined the cases of Jai-hai, Suk-won, and Lun for re-investigation. After days of scrutiny, he discovered that while in prison, Jai-hai received a letter containing contact information for 5 people. Red Tears might be among them. Soo-young also discovered a car parked outside Jai-hai's house for over 5 minutes in surveillance footage of someone stalking her. The car belonged to Wu Kaiang. This woman knelt, begging Wu Kaiang for 3 million won. When pleading failed, she became aggressive. But she underestimated Wu Kaiang, who wasn't intimidated. A slap landed squarely on her face, stunning her. More slaps followed. Although her son had died in a car accident caused by Wu Kaiang, what was truly infuriating was the woman's lack of concern for him, coupled with repeated, excessive demands for compensation. This pushed Wu Kaiang over the edge, her hands trembling with rage. Jai-hun questioned Wu Kaiang about parking outside Jai-hai's house. She claimed she was just passing by, explaining that the route to her sister's hospital took her past that location. She parked to look because Jai-hai had been in the news. Jai-hun asked if it was painful having a sister in a vegetative state. The mention of her sister saddened Wu Kaiang, but she replied it wasn't painful because she couldn't compare to her sister, who could only breathe. Jai-hun didn't quite understand her response. Her sister was in a vegetative state, yet Wu Kaiang hid her suffering. Soo-young suggested Wu Kaiang might not be hiding it. Instead, she seemed to be screaming internally, either from immense pain or past trauma. Back at the station, colleagues reviewed surveillance footage, confirming Wu Kaiang did pass Jai-hai's house weekly, seemingly without suspicious behavior. Jai-hun insisted they remain objective. All 3 cases' victims, suspects, and the crimes themselves connected to the children's center where Wu Kaiang worked. The likelihood of the perpetrator being linked to the center was high. Meanwhile, Wu Kaiang received a reply from Red Tears. He knew her. She immediately informed Jai-hun, who questioned why she contacted the killer. Wu Kaiang explained she wanted to clear her name, as Suk-won's wife believed she was Red Tears. Although she didn't know who Red Tears was, he seemed to know her thoughts, understanding her desire for Suk-won's death, believing it would bring happiness to his wife and child. That day, after a live stream, the woman received a gift from her biggest online supporter. Inside the box was a note, profiting from misery, feeding off misfortune. She opened another box containing a creepy doll, which she immediately threw away. The unsettling toy and the strange note gave her a bad feeling. While Jai-hun didn't consider Wu Kaiang a suspect, her connection to the cases made him suspicious. Just then, a colleague uncovered a lead. Jai-hai received a call the day before her death from a number registered to Ha-young. They questioned Ha-young, who denied owning the number. Someone likely used her identity. Jai-hun then noticed a display for a charity supporting abused children, the same club Wu Kaiang belonged to. Ha-young revealed both she and Wu Kaiang were members, but after Wu Kaiang's sister's accident left her crazy, she left the club. As they spoke, Ha-young's daughter, Bit-na, arrived home from school. Ha-young greeted her warmly, boasting to the detectives that Bit-na was the top student in her class. After Jai-hun and his colleague left, Bit-na called them back, urging them not to believe her mother. She insisted Wu Kaiang wasn't crazy. Elsewhere, Wu Kaiang found her kindergarten classmate, but the woman claimed not to know her, suggesting Wu Kaiang was mistaken due to the passage of time. Wu Kaiang asked if she remembered the girl in the green dress from the drawing. The woman said the girl in the drawing was Wu Kaiang. Suddenly, an image of the girl in the green dress flashed in Wu Kaiang's mind. She saw the girl cowering on the floor, shrinking back in fear, staring at an unidentified woman approaching menacingly. Confusion and disbelief washed over Wu Kaiang. Panicked, she muttered in denial, "No, it can't be me. It can't be me. The top student at school. How does that even work?" First, she hands over all her electronics. Then, her mother frisks her, confiscates anything unrelated to studying, and locks her in a room, monitoring her every move through a surveillance camera. But clearly, she underestimated a student's desire for their phone. Because, under the desk, in a blind spot of the camera, Bit-na is secretly playing on her phone. From the camera's perspective, she appears to be diligently studying. There's always a workaround for every rule. Meanwhile, at the police station, officers have traced the phone number registered to Min Ha-young. It was activated a few days ago, coinciding with when Cha Woo-kyung received the message. The time the suspect logged into the release website also matches the phone's IP address. They can confirm that the phone user is Red Tears. Before Park Jae-hye died, she used a public phone to contact Red Tears. Red Tears lured her to the crime scene, murdered her, and used Park Jae-hye's information to register on the release website. Then, using the Red Tears ID, they contacted On Suk-won's wife. Cho Soo-dang discovered the phone is registered to Min Ha-young and found she has a record, particularly for assault. Victim testimonies reveal she would violently retaliate against anyone who disagreed with her. Only Cha Woo-kyung seemed to get along with her, as they shared the belief that child abusers should be punished. Cha Woo-kyung claims they were just colleagues, not particularly close, but not on bad terms either. Kang Jae-hun suspects Min Ha-young is Red Tears, at least they share the same views on child abuse. Cha Woo-kyung argues that although she is eccentric, she wouldn't go as far as to kill someone. Furthermore, their stances align on the issue. There's nothing more cruel than everyone attacking a child. But even so, they wouldn't resort to murder. Leaving the station, Kang Jae-hun and Cha Woo-kyung look towards the children's center, the place they've frequented the most since the case began. Kang Jae-hun suddenly thinks the issue might not be with Cha Woo-kyung, but with the center itself. He rushes back to Cha Woo-kyung. They learn all records are entered electronically and stored on the company's internal network, seemingly secure. However, a few months ago, the center underwent a system maintenance, creating a master key granting access to all files. Normally, this key would be entrusted to the head of security, but at this center, it's held by the director. They immediately seek out the director. He claims ignorance about computers, relying on his secretary for logins. Besides the secretary, the security team, including Lee Yoon-ho, knows the key. They are forced to interrogate everyone with knowledge of the key. While Jeon Soo-young questions Yoon-ho, she notices his drawing of Hana. He admits his fondness for the child. Seeing children smile quiets the turmoil within him. He adds that if Lee Yoon hadn't died in the warehouse, her daughter Hana wouldn't be as happy as she is now. Noticing Jeon Soo-young's gaze, he hastily adds, "Of course, killing someone is very bad." After making inquiries, Cha Woo-kyung finds a childhood friend, but this woman claims not to know her. So, she searches her home's storage room, finding nothing from her childhood. Cha Woo-kyung is bewildered. Why do her memories differ so drastically from others? Moreover, her father always relied on photos to jog her child. Despite knowing the suspect's ID and phone number, they couldn't catch him. The case reached another dead end. Just then, Kang Jae-hun received a call. His restraining order against Hana's father had been denied, allowing him visitation rights. Frustrated, Kang Jae-hun lashed out at inanimate objects before finally bringing Hana to see the man. Under the man's relentless questioning, Hana wet herself in fear and ran to the bathroom. She seemed familiar with the place, yet the man claimed she simply adapted quickly. He then casually mocked Cha Woo-kyung's physique. Kang Jae-hun punched him to the ground. As he was about to continue the assault, Hana clung to him, calming him down. Although the crime was confirmed, an arrest couldn't be made. Hana received another threat from her father. Cha Woo-kyung was furious, her emotions raw like a primal scream, enraged by child abusers. "Don't play with your phone while walking, or you'll end up like her." Engrossed in her phone, a woman walked into traffic and was hit by a car. The driver fled the scene. Lying dangerously in the road, the woman suddenly opened her eyes, grabbed her phone and purse, and stumbled to the sidewalk before collapsing again. Meanwhile, Jeon Soo-young found Bip-na, Min Ha-young's daughter, and asked why her mother and Cha Woo-kyung had a falling out. Bip-na explained that Cha Woo-kyung saw a bruise on her arm and suspected child abuse. Min Ha-young then accused Cha Woo-kyung of having a persecution complex. Investigating, Jeon Soo-young discovered Min Ha-young's financial and phone records were clean. However, she'd purchased sedatives, marketed as improving focus and preventing drowsiness in children. The seller was Park Yong-tae, who had killed Park Jae-hye and then himself. they had participated in protests together. Min Ha-young seemed surprised by Park Yong-tae's death, yet she attended his funeral. This made Kang Jae-hun suspicious. Cha Woo-kyung visited Young Hee-soo, the sister of the boy involved in the traffic accident, showing her a drawing he had made. Young Hee-soo stroked the paper, tears welling in her eyes. A nurse explained that they had located the children's father, who was in prison for theft. Their mother had abandoned them, leaving Young Hee-soo destined for foster care, pending a relative's consent. After some inquiries, Cha Woo-kyung found the mother in the hospital, severely stabbed and immobile. After getting permission to place Young Hee-soo in foster care, Cha Woo-kyung prepared to leave. Suddenly, the woman recited a line of poetry, trampling on sorrow, making a living off that misery. It was the same line from the gift box. The woman believed she was stabbed as punishment, bearing the sins inflicted on her child. She had survived, but her child had died. Back home, Cha Woo-kyung found the poem in a book. The next day, she told Kang Jae-hun about it, believing the red cry was targeting the woman. She had also received the poem before the accident. Kang Jae-hun found the method too obvious, easily traceable. Despite his skepticism, he investigated the woman's workplace and found the poem written on a piece of paper. At the hospital, he asked if the woman had discussed her child with anyone. She insisted she hadn't, knowing she was unfit to be a mother. Kang Jae-hun then received a call. The hit-and-run driver had been apprehended. The driver, Chung, was a delivery driver recently returned from vacation, working overtime on the day of the accident. He didn't recognize the poem, leading Kang Jae-hun to dismiss a connection to the red cry. Another call informed Kang Jae-hun that Ha-na's father was pursuing a paternity test, intending to gain custody. Kang Jae-hun tried to intervene, but the man insisted on his parental rights. After hanging up, the man's smile was chilling. Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung received a call from a classmate who finally understood why she'd been mistaken for the girl in the green dress, sending her an email. The email contained a photo from a birthday party, showing Cha Woo-kyung wearing a green dress, a gift from her birth mother. The image of herself, the girl in the green dress, flooded her mind. The intertwining memories threatened to overwhelm her. The young girl was laughing and joking with her tutor. Her mother happened to see this through the surveillance camera. The woman called the girl out. First, she frisked her, then slapped her across the face, but immediately afterward, she cupped the girl's face, said she loved her, and told her to study hard. This kind of parenting left the girl unable to distinguish between affection and abuse. As the mother was about to leave the room, she heard a phone vibrate. She picked up the tutor's phone and saw a text message from her daughter to the tutor. She threw open the door, dragged her daughter out of the study room, and, sure enough, found a phone hidden under the table. The daughter apologized profusely and begged for forgiveness, but the mother's anger was unquenchable. She grabbed a cane kept nearby and forced her daughter to undress before beating her. Elsewhere, Cha Woo-kyung experienced more flashbacks. Both she and the girl in her visions wore green dresses. She searched for the dress in storage, but found it empty. Her stepmother had cleared out all her belongings, leaving only a few photos. People say shared memories connect families, but Cha Woo-kyung had no one to reminisce with. To uncover her past, Cha Woo-kyung visited the Public Records Office to investigate her family ties. She found information about her maternal grandmother and aunt, but her grandmother had passed away years ago, and since her aunt wasn't immediate family, the clerk couldn't provide further details. Cha Woo-kyung turned to Kang Jae-hun for help with the investigation. Meanwhile, using Min Ha-young's phone location data, Jeon Soo-young discovered that Min Ha-young wasn't near the locations of Park Jae-hae and On Suk-won's murders. However, both their phones and the Red Cry phone had been on the same street at one point. Kang Jae-hun immediately searched Min Ha-young's house. Finding nothing suspicious, he confiscated her computer and phone for analysis. Han Shi-won met with Cha Woo-kyung to say goodbye after his final counseling session. He was cheerful and saved Cha Woo-kyung's number. He then noticed the portrait of the girl in the green dress and remarked on her resemblance to Cha Woo-kyung. Cha Woo-kyung was surprised. It was the first time anyone had mentioned the similarity. That night, Bit-na returned home from school to find her mother staring blankly into space. When Min Ha-young saw her daughter, she grabbed Bit-na's laptop and nervously messaged the mysterious contact, asking if the police taking her laptop would be a problem. The contact assured her that as long as she followed specific login steps, they wouldn't find anything, easing Min Ha-young's anxiety. At the police station, the analysis of Min Ha-young's laptop and phone revealed minimal usage and clean histories. The phone was used only for calls and texts. The computer showed browsing history for ordinary websites, except for a horror movie forum, which, while unusual, wasn't incriminating. Preoccupied with finding the girl in the green dress, Cha Woo-kyung's stepmother reached out to her ex-husband, Kim Min-seok, asking him to intervene. The next day, Kim Min-seok took their daughter, claiming Cha Woo-kyung was in no state to care for her. He warned that if she continued like this, he would retain custody. Facing their lack of understanding, Cha Woo-kyung felt exhausted. She simply wanted to recover her lost childhood memories, nothing more. Returning home, the young girl saw her tutor and mother acting intimately. Heartbroken, she sobbed alone on the rooftop. To her mother, she was merely a study tool, no leisure time, no friends, even her tutor, the only person she could talk to, was taken away. Finally, she called her counselor, Cha Woo-kyung, confessing that she wished her mother were dead and pleading for help. Cha Woo-kyung took her to the Child Protection Center. Bitna described how, starting middle school, her mother created a strict study regimen, 5 hours daily, 8 on weekends. Confined to her room, she had to use an emergency button even for bathroom breaks. Lower grades resulted in beatings, leaving her covered in bruises. Bitna always believed her mother's actions stemmed from love and hoped things would change after entering university. But now, she feared she might die before even getting there. After listening to Bitna's story, Cha Woo-kyung held the little girl tightly and sobbed. Min Ha-young was taken to the police station for investigation according to the law. She claimed that Cha Woo-kyung had instigated her daughter to falsely accuse her. Cha Woo-kyung produced photos of a boy covered in bruises from being beaten by his father. At the time, both women had been furious, calling the man a monster, and even jointly suing him. She then placed Bitna and the boy's photos side by side, asking Min Ha-young if she could differentiate between the two. How was what she was doing any different from what the boy's father had done? Min Ha-young shouted that she wasn't like them. She was doing it for Bitna's own good. But she never considered that the boy's father had likely said the same thing, that he was beating his son to discipline him. It wasn't for their benefit at all. It was child abuse. After calming down, Min Ha-young began to realize her mistakes and confess to her crimes. Bitna had thought that if she was obedient and studied hard, her mother would change. But she discovered that no matter what she did, she couldn't change this harsh reality. Back home, Min Ha-young talked to the mysterious person again. The other party expressed disappointment in her, but Min Ha-young claimed she had special circumstances. At that moment, her colleague discovered that Red Crying's phone had been turned on. This meant the person Min Ha-young was talking to was Red Crying. They hurriedly tracked the location, finally stopping at a post office. Looking at the packages being loaded onto the truck, Kang Jae-hun suddenly realized that it wasn't a person moving, but goods. But why now? Jeon Soo-young guessed that Red Crying wanted to divert the police's attention away from Min Ha-young. This meant the next victim was likely Min Ha-young. At this time, Cha Woo-kyung and Bitna were meeting Min Ha-young at the cafe where the three of them used to go. Because she had been deeply affected by her divorce, Min Ha-young hadn't allowed Bitna to see her father. Her daughter's hard work and becoming the top student in school had restored her pride. But Bitna felt like she was just a tool for her mother to regain her self-esteem. Min Ha-young sobbed, holding her daughter's hand and repeatedly apologizing, asking her not to forgive her. At the same time, their colleague received a package containing Red Crying's phone. It contained a black and white photo of Min Ha-young with the words, "Collect your death certificate today," written underneath. It was confirmed that Min Ha-young was the next target. Kang Jae-hun urgently called Cha Woo-kyung, telling them not to leave the cafe and reassuring Min Ha-young that they were coming to protect her. After hanging up, the two women talked for a bit longer. Min Ha-young asked the waiter where the restroom was and then left the cafe. A moment later, Cha Woo-kyung suddenly realized something. This was a place they had been to before. Min Ha-young couldn't possibly not know where the restroom was. So she hurried out to search for her, finally finding Min Ha-young on the rooftop. At this moment, she received a message from Red Crying, "Do you want to judge yourself?" Cha Woo-kyung watched in horror as Min Ha-young smiled and fell from the rooftop. Kang Jae-hun arrived just in time but couldn't prevent the tragedy. Cha Woo-kyung, witnessing the entire event, stood frozen in place. Kang Jae-hun asked why she hadn't stopped her. Cha Woo-kyung had assumed nothing like this would happen in the cafe. After all, it was a cafe Min Ha-young had been to before. She couldn't not know where the restroom was. The fact that she asked the waiter seemed like a plea for Cha Woo-kyung to stop her, suggesting that deep down, she didn't want to die. By checking the post office's security footage, their colleague discovered a man who had sent Red Crying's phone. He had deliberately chosen a location with poor surveillance, leaving only a blurry image of his back. The photo of Min Ha-young on the phone was downloaded from the internet, and the writing was taken from a forensic poem. The autopsy confirmed suicide. Kang Jae-hun believed that Min Ha-young committed suicide after receiving the message. She was likely threatened, but the messaging app automatically deleted messages after the conversation ended, so no useful clues were found. However, the last website Min Ha-young visited before her death was a horror movie forum. She had first logged onto the site half a month before Park Jae-hye's death. She hadn't participated in any protests after that. Bitna said she had seen her mother log onto the website more than once. This had struck her as odd, as her mother didn't like horror movies. Bitna felt guilty for her mother's death, believing that her report to the police had driven her to suicide. Cha Woo-kyung quickly comforted her. Kang Jae-hun had just returned to the police station when he received an email. Ha-na's father was contacting him to get the DNA test results. If paternity was legally confirmed, Ha-na would return to live with him. This was like sending Ha-na straight into hell. Cha Woo-kyung was also worried when she heard the news, but since there was currently no evidence of child abuse against Ha-na's father, they had to find another way. During a conversation, Cha Woo-kyung and Yoon-ho discussed Ha-na being taken away by her father. Ha-na, once isolated, had become increasingly cheerful and active after receiving therapy. They couldn't imagine what would happen to her if she returned to her father. At that moment, Ha-na discovered a dead sparrow. She placed the bird in a hole she had dug, covered it with dirt, and then firmly packed the soil down with her foot. Cha Woo-kyung asked why she buried the sparrow. Ha-na replied, "Because it's dead." But how could a child so young know that the dead should be buried? Cha Woo-kyung then asked what Ha-na used to play when she lived with her father. Ha-na hesitated for a moment, then said she didn't have a father. This reminded Cha Woo-kyung of something Ha-na had said before. "If you tell anyone, he'll snap my neck and kill me." Soo-young, through further investigation into Min Ha-young, discovered that she logged into the forum 2 to 3 times a week on average and was a member of the site, but she had never posted or commented. It was clear she didn't enjoy watching horror movies, yet she had registered as a member. Kang Jae-hun speculated that this might be a communication channel with Red Crying. Moreover, they discovered that Park Yong-tae, Park Jae-hye's killer, had also logged into the website before his death. Just then, Ha-na's father called to thank Kang Jae-hun for returning Ha-na to his care. His words were laced with provocation. Enraged, Kang Jae-hun yelled, asking why Red Crying hadn't killed him since they had killed so many others. He quickly regained his composure, however, and went to find Cha Woo-kyung. Cha Woo-kyung reasoned that Ha-na's father's eagerness to take her away meant he must have committed a serious crime. Taking Ha-na was a way to silence her. Therefore, they had to stall for as much time as possible, waiting until the man became anxious, then offer the best possible terms to protect Ha-na. The little girl was about to live with the father who had abused her. In the car, the man asked if she had told anyone. Ha-na shook her head, indicating she hadn't. He then asked, "What would he do if she told?" Ha-na replied, "He'd snap my neck and kill me." To protect Ha-na, Cha Woo-kyung threatened the director of the orphanage, accusing him of abusing his authority and demanding he negotiate with the man. They finally agreed that Ha-na would receive regular therapy sessions, giving Cha Woo-kyung opportunities to get Ha-na to reveal the truth. Before leaving, Cha Woo-kyung taught Ha-na to memorize her phone number so she could call in case of emergency. Kang Jae-hun had requested a panic button from his superiors. If Ha-na was in danger, the police would be immediately dispatched. Although they couldn't completely separate Ha-na from her father, this was the best protection they could offer. After Hana left, Kang Jae-hun visited the administrator of the horror movie website. Though the man's home was disgustingly filthy, the website was impeccably clean. So why had both Park Young-tae and Min Ha-young logged into the website before their deaths? While examining a box of underwear, Kang Jae-hun suddenly had a realization. Perhaps the forum was just a facade. To uncover the secret, they had to look beyond the surface. He instructed his colleague to investigate further. That night, the man, drunk, entered Hana's room, lifted her leg, and removed her panic button. After he left, Hana carefully opened her eyes, locked the door, and whispered Cha Woo-kyung's phone number to herself. Sometime later, while Hana was sleeping, she was startled awake by the sound of barking dogs and crashing objects. Terrified, she clutched her teddy bear tightly, covering her ears with her hands. At that moment, Cha Woo-kyung was putting her daughter to sleep. When she opened her eyes again, she saw the little girl in the green dress standing before her. Immediately after, her phone rang. It was Hana, crying and calling her name. At that moment, a man dressed in black slowly approached Hana and snatched her phone. Cha Woo-kyung rushed to Hana's house and informed Kang Jae-hun that Hana was in danger. The two of them immediately headed there. When Cha Woo-kyung arrived, she found the room empty and the floor in disarray, as if there had been a struggle. She called out Hana's name while searching everywhere. Then, she noticed something in the storage room. Upon opening the door, she saw a blood-covered hammer lying on a table. Just as she was about to get a closer look, a hand suddenly covered Cha Woo-kyung's mouth, knocking her unconscious. The man in black dragged her out of the room and casually turned on the storage room light. Lying on the table, clearly dead, was Hana's father. Carved into his back was a verse. Everyone pretends not to know, living like a dog saving people. Clearly, the man in black was the Red Crier, and this was his judgment upon Hana's father. Cha Woo-kyung, who had come to rescue Hana, was also missing, leaving only her dropped phone at the scene. As Kang Jae-hun sent people to search the surrounding area, Jeon Soo-young discovered a new body, the buried remains of an infant. Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung gradually regained consciousness. She found Hana beside her and immediately cried for help. The two were rescued by the police. The forensic doctor determined the remains belonged to a 15-month-old child. The skull was dented and the ribs were fractured. The child had likely been beaten before death. DNA testing revealed that the child and the dead man were father and son, meaning the child was Hana's younger brother. Cha Woo-kyung informed the director about the man's death, but the director appeared indifferent. Lately, he had been preoccupied with making money and even told Cha Woo-kyung about the Children's Center's new business plan. Just then, Chairman Ryan Ho barged in, and the director immediately became deferential, as it was his father. The chairman held his son in low regard, knowing him to be a gambling addict. The director insisted he had been working diligently and staying out of trouble, gesturing to Ryan Ho to corroborate his claims. Elsewhere, Cha Woo-kyung patiently provided psychological counseling to Hana, encouraging her to recount what had happened. That evening, Hana mentioned hearing incessant barking. Frightened, she called Cha Woo-kyung. Then, she saw a good person's face. She had seen the same face when her mother, Lee Yeonju, died. Cha Woo-kyung asked if she had lived with a baby before. Hana said the baby's crying was okay, then quickly covered her mouth. Afterward, Hana only shook her head in response to any further questions. Jeon Soo-young told Hana it was okay to talk, as her father would never find her again. So, Hana said, hoo, it's okay. Hoo, Jack. Then the baby didn't cry anymore. After burying his son, the man had threatened his wife and Hana, vowing to break their necks if they revealed the secret. This was the secret the girl had kept hidden, the fear her father instilled in her, preventing her from expressing her emotions. Despite her fear, she maintained a smile. Jeon Soo-young reassured Hana that it was okay to cry. Her father was gone. Even if she cried, she wouldn't be buried like her brother. Finally, Hana's emotions were released. She understood that it was all right to cry, that someone would comfort her. The next day, they returned to the crime scene. The room showed no signs of forced entry, suggesting the man had opened the door himself. According to the forensic examiner, a physical altercation had taken place. During the struggle, the man in black used a stun gun to incapacitate Hana's father, then dragged him into the woods, extracted his teeth, and tortured him to reveal the location of the buried child. But Ha-na had clearly kept the secret until the very end. How did the man in black know she had a younger brother? Why deliberately bring her father to the storage room, kill him, and use crayons to draw on his body? Jeon Soo-young recalled Ha-na's fondness for drawing with crayons. Perhaps the man in black was enacting revenge on Ha-na's behalf. Cha Woo-kyung, observing Ha-na's act of burying a sparrow, had suspected a deeper secret. But she never imagined it was Ha-na's brother buried beneath the earth. At the time, besides Cha Woo-kyung, only Yoon-ho witnessed the action. Kang Jae-hun immediately sought out Yoon-ho, suggesting that because he loved children, he must understand their language. Yoon-ho retorted that liking children didn't equate to murder, finding the logic flawed. He advised Kang Jae-hun against rashly suspecting others. The horror movie website, in reality, concealed many secrets. Between 11 p.m. and 11:15 p.m., an inconspicuous red dot would appear on the homepage. Users could then log in with their individual accounts and passwords. Inside, they would find all manner of reports alleging child abuse. Special cases were brought to the judgment room, where members discussed and delivered verdicts. Because posters were anonymous, with member IDs ranging from H1 to H5, the actual number of members was impossible to determine. It was a perfectly anonymous ocean, the secret website the Red Crier used to find his victims. Investigations revealed that of the 7 cases in the judgment room, 3 were connected to the Children's Center. The perpetrator was clearly familiar with it. A few days earlier, Cha Woo-kyung had received an invitation link to the website from Min Ha-young. Kang Jae-hun hoped she could fabricate a child abuse case related to the center to lure the Red Crier out. This reminded Cha Woo-kyung of Han Shi-wan's unexplained fall from the stairs at midnight. She posted an entry titled, "The Child Haunted by the Stairs." A younger sister suddenly died from an illness. The older brother inexplicably tumbled down the stairs, all because of their abusive father, whose violence caused the boys' erratic behavior. Their mother, also a victim of domestic abuse, was powerless and even told the boy that his sister hadn't actually died from illness. They lived in constant fear. The post sparked immediate discussion among numerous members. As the secret website's closing time approached, anticipation grew, and Cha Woo-kyung received a private message. To verify the information, the sender asked Cha Woo-kyung several questions and demanded evidence of the abuse. They instructed her to place the documents in a yellow bag under the Christmas tree in a nearby square. The next day, the police deployed officers near the square and sent someone with the bag to the designated location. Everyone focused on identifying suspicious individuals. Suddenly, a band started playing, drawing a crowd. When Kang Jae-hun checked the location, the bag was gone. He frantically scanned the area and spotted a person wearing a hat grabbing the bag. He gave chase. The figure stopped in a tunnel. As Kang Jae-hun approached, the person fled. The pursuit led to a rooftop. While Kang Jae-hun surveyed the surroundings, the figure punched him to the ground, then delivered a kick. He managed to grab the attacker's pants leg. Luckily, before losing consciousness, he glimpsed the perpetrator's face. Recalling the image, he realized it was a mask. The mask depicted a character from a show, a villain transformed by magic into the face of a good person. That's why Ha-na had said "good person" every time she saw it. After this attempt to flush out the culprit, the secret website vanished. The case reached another dead end. That night, the director confronted Yoon-ho. Believing Yoon-ho had informed the chairman about his embezzlement, the director attacked him. As the director rained down blows, Yoon-ho insisted it wasn't him but Minister Jun from the Children's Center. Cha Woo-kyung witnessed the scene and intervened, stopping the director. While tending to Yoon-ho's wounds, she urged him to report the assault to the police. Despite having endured such beatings before, Yoon-ho believed the director had merely acted out of anger. Furthermore, he considered the director and chairman like family and asked Cha Woo-kyung not to interfere. Just released from the hospital, Kang Jae-hun received a new case. A man had been murdered in his shop. The cash register emptied. It appeared to be a typical robbery homicide. Upon further investigation, the victim was identified as Minister Jun. At the crime scene, a book of poems was discovered. It's reminiscent of the Red Crying case. Investigations revealed that 3 years prior, Mr. Jun had adopted a child, only to later abandon them. A colleague suddenly realized Mr. Jun fit the profile of a past case in their records. A couple adopted a child, abused them, then relinquished custody. However, Cha Woo-kyung disagreed. She acknowledged that Mr. Jun had abandoned the child, but not due to abuse. According to her, the couple, unable to conceive, adopted. However, after the adoption, the wife became pregnant. The adopted child, possibly feeling insecure, may have harmed the pregnant mother, causing a miscarriage. This deeply traumatized both the child and the mother, leading to the relinquishment of custody. Cha Woo-kyung had overseen the entire adoption process and insisted that any abuse would have been discovered. Kang Jae-hun revisited the crime scene. Based on the modus operandi, he didn't believe it was the work of red crying. The perpetrator had used a kitchen knife, then attempted to clean it, but blood traces remained. The perpetrator also took the security camera footage and wiped away fingerprints, attempting to erase any trace of their presence. However, in the process of wiping, they damaged the equipment. They clearly intended to destroy all evidence, but, due to apparent stress, were sloppy. The poetry at the scene was a whole book, not just a single poem. Just then, Jeon Soo-young received a call. Matching fingerprints belonging to Yoon-ho were found on the book of poems and the murder weapon. At the children's center, Yoon-ho denied killing anyone. He claimed he was simply delivering something, but upon entering, found Mr. Jun on the floor. Terrified, he ran away. Despite his fear, he didn't contact the police. He reasoned that those without a clear alibi would be the prime suspects, especially since Kang Jae-hun had previously targeted him. Jeon Soo-young searched Lee Yoon-ho's residence and found a pair of shoes matching footprints at Ha-na's father's murder scene. She also discovered a piece of tape on Yoon-ho's shoelaces that matched a piece found near the bakery's damaged security camera. It was possible Lee Yoon-ho had taken the memory card. However, when confronted by Kang Jae-hun, Yoon-ho vehemently denied any involvement. Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung visited her younger sister in the hospital. The doctors had devised a new treatment plan, hopeful for its effectiveness. She recalled a heated argument with her sister just before the traffic accident. Her sister had confessed her dislike for their stepmother's cold demeanor, while Cha Woo-kyung had tried to appease her. At that moment, the girl in the green dress appeared before Cha Woo-kyung, standing silently beside her sister, watching her. With the serial murder case unsolved, another homicide had emerged. All current evidence pointed to this one man. But whether he was being stubborn or truly innocent remained unclear. Throughout the interrogation, he only uttered one phrase, "It wasn't me." The results of Lee Yoon-ho's shoe analysis came back quickly. While they matched the footprints at Ha-na's father's murder scene, no blood was found on them. The tape only proved he had been at the scene. There was no evidence of personal conflict or financial transactions between the two men. Yoon-ho seemingly lacked a motive. Information surfaced about the deceased, Mr. Jun. During his time as a financial officer at the Children's Center, he had been investigated for embezzlement. However, the case was quickly dismissed due to lack of evidence. Despite the allegations, he continued working at the center for over a year. The director of the center explained that, due to their close friendship and trust, Mr. Jun had been entrusted with the finances. He claimed the embezzlement accusations were a misunderstanding and blamed Yoon-ho for causing trouble. When Kang Jae-hun inquired about any conflict between them, the director mentioned that Mr. Jun had loaned money to Yoon-ho. But Lee Yoon-ho was so poor he lived in the staff dormitory. Where would he have gotten money to lend? Back at the police station, Jae-hun investigated the director and discovered he had 3 prior convictions for violent crimes and dozens of privately settled disputes. Meanwhile, the director pleaded with Cha Woo-kyung to visit Yoon-ho. He confessed to having wronged Yoon-ho a few days prior, leaving him ashamed. He asked Cha Woo-kyung to reassure Yoon-ho, promising to hire the best lawyer to mitigate any punishment. Cha Woo-kyung relayed the message at the police station. Upon hearing it, Yoon-ho burst into tears. He had considered them family, but they clearly hadn't reciprocated. Cha Woo-kyung also didn't believe Yoon-ho was involved in the murder. She urged him to tell the truth, arguing that misplaced loyalty and fear of the director's anger would condemn him to a life behind bars. Encouraged by Cha Woo-kyung, Yoon-ho finally confessed. While retrieving laundry for the director, he had discovered a memory card. It contained footage of the director committing the murder. He had seen Kang Jae-hun nearby and hidden the card inside a toy. He explained that he had always cleaned up the director's messes to avoid his wrath. Kang Jae-hun struggled to understand why Yoon-ho would protect a murderer by concealing crucial evidence. Yoon-ho explained that their relationship, once established, couldn't be easily broken, despite his desire to escape it. His greatest fear was the director finding out. Cha Woo-kyung realized Yoon-ho wasn't lying but was terrified, similar to Han-na's reluctance to reveal her father's actions. She reflected on the fear that comes with being controlled. The director was arrested. Only after being shown the video evidence did he confess. He hadn't initially intended to kill Mr. Jun, but Mr. Jun had threatened to expose the director's embezzlement, prompting the murder. Yoon-ho was cleared of suspicion and released. However, upon returning home, the director held him at gunpoint, accusing him of neglecting his child. Terrified, Yoon-ho knelt. The police examined the director's computer, discovering his frequent online gambling activity and access to the secret website. Crucially, they determined that the computer's owner had deleted the site. Jae-hun immediately searched the director's home, finding blood-stained shoes and the benevolent mask. Meanwhile, the director forced Lee Yoon-ho to read poetry, specifically Seo Jeongju's Leper. Yoon-ho began. The leper feels sad before the sun and the light. When the moon rises over the desert field. At the hospital, Cha Woo-kyung was reading the same poem to her sister. Suddenly, her sister's lips moved, her eyes fluttered open, and she whispered, "Sister." Meanwhile, Yoon-ho continued. The crimson teardrop left by the night. Just like a flower. Miraculously, the sister, in a vegetative state for 6 or 7 years, awoke after hearing the poem. The doctor, after examining her, expressed optimism for a full recovery. With the director's arrest, he hastily convened a board meeting, intending to take full control of the children's center. However, court officials arrived. It turned out the director had used the center as collateral for a 2.7 billion loan, which remained unpaid. The court seized the property. Desperate, the director urged Lee Yoon-ho to visit him at the police station to reveal the location of the hidden money. Full of remorse, the director apologized to Yoon-ho for abandoning him during his arrest. Yoon-ho, surprisingly forgiving, didn't mention the director's earlier instructions but promised to find him an expensive lawyer. After returning to the children's center, Lee Yoon-ho revealed that the director hadn't hidden the money, but had lost it gambling online. Trying to recoup his losses, he'd fallen into a vicious cycle. Upon hearing this, the director struck Yoon-ho on the head, berating him for not keeping a closer watch. Cha Woo-kyung intervened, stopping the beating. Later, Cha Woo-kyung approached Yoon-ho, offering him a new job opportunity. She explained that to move on from their established relationship, they needed to maintain some distance. She encouraged Yoon-ho to leave the director's side. However, Lee Yoon-ho interpreted this as pity, adding that days like these wouldn't last much longer anyway. As soon as Cha Woo-kyung left, Kang Jae-hun arrived, seeking a month's worth of entry and exit logs for the director. However, the director mostly used the back entrance. The security camera there was broken and hadn't been repaired. Only footage from the existing cameras could be retrieved. During their conversation, Kang Jae-hun brought up the director, suggesting he might have also killed Han-na's father. Yoon-ho dismissed this, claiming the director was too lazy to do anything. Furthermore, Yoon-ho stated that if he were a police officer, he wouldn't arrest the killer because they had saved the child. Kang Jae-hun retorted, "Murder is murder. There's nothing worse than taking someone's life. The motive doesn't justify the act." Kang Jae-hun's unwavering conviction impressed Yoon-ho, who remarked on his clarity. Before leaving, he urged Kang Jae-hun to catch the real culprit. After her younger sister woke up, Cha Woo-kyung helped her with speech therapy every day. Today, she showed her sister a photo of her in a green dress. Unexpectedly, the sister stammered out the words, "bag picture." Cha Woo-kyung rushed home, opened her sister's suitcase, searched her notebook, and found a photo of herself, her mother, and her sister in the green dress. Cha Woo-kyung asked her stepmother if she recognized the child in the photo. The stepmother dismissed it, suggesting it was just some acquaintance they had taken a picture with. At that moment, the news reported on the director's case. The police had determined that the director had killed both of Ha-na's parents. However, Kang Jae-hun and his superior didn't publicly announce this. Only a few people on the task force knew. The news reported the murder but didn't mention the child abuse. This suggested the perpetrator's motive wasn't simply about justice, but possibly about destroying the children's center. Hearing the news, the director, bedridden for years, rose in a fit of rage. The career he had painstakingly built was now crumbling. At this point, Yoon-ho confessed his involvement. He knew about the director's loans. He had personally gone to the bank to handle them. The director raised his cane to strike Yoon-ho again, but his legs gave way, and he collapsed onto the floor. At the police station, Kang Jae-hun presented the murder weapon to the director for identification. Looking at the shoes, the director claimed they weren't his, arguing his feet were too big and he never tied his laces so tightly. Kang Jae-hun then showed him the shoes found in Yoon-ho's room, to which the director declared, "Those are mine." Meanwhile, Yoon-ho went to the director's house. He first dismissed the housekeeper. Then, in the study, he talked to the director about the center's closure while selecting a volume of poetry to place on the table. His intention was to comfort the director with these poems. One by one, he tore the pages of each poetry book. The study floor became littered with shredded paper. A white-haired old man sat with his back to the room. Cha Woo-kyung entered slowly. The sight before her made her gasp. The director's mouth was stuffed with paper. At that moment, Lee Yoon-ho appeared, holding a gun. He said, "The director loved poetry, so let him have plenty of what he loved." Yoon-ho recalled reading poetry as a child, and the director saying he loved him like he loved poetry. Yoon-ho had believed him, only to fall into hell. He warned Cha Woo-kyung, "If you've truly forgotten, it's best not to remember." He then raised his gun and forced Cha Woo-kyung to take him away. Kang Jae-hun arrived at Yoon-ho's room at the children's center, only to find he had moved out. Left behind were a pair of shoes and a flash drive. The camera footage on the drive showed Lee Yoon-ho entering and exiting the director's room 2 or 3 times a week, coinciding with the times the director's computer logged into the secret website. It confirmed that he was Red Cry. The fact that he intentionally left behind evidence of his crimes meant he no longer had any reason to hide. When Kang Jae-hun arrived at the director's house, he found only the deceased director. Cha Woo-kyung's phone was off, unreachable. He urgently instructed his colleagues to check traffic cameras and pursue Cha Woo-kyung's vehicle. Meanwhile, Lee Yoon-ho recounted the details of each case to Cha Woo-kyung. He first encountered Park Jae-hai's killer, Park Yang-tae, at the children's center. Enraged by the news of Park Jae-hai's release from prison, they created the secret website together, selecting like-minded individuals and sending out invitations. During that time, Park Yang-tae involved Min Ha-young in a protest, using her name to unlock a phone for their group. Since Park Jae-hai had just been released and was desperately seeking employment, he used this as a pretext to lure her out. Despite carrying out the planned murder of Park Jae-hai, Park Yang-tae couldn't bear the guilt. He chose to commit suicide. His death deeply shook Lee Yoon-ho, causing him to refrain from killing for a significant period. Then, he met Ha-na. Witnessing her mother subjecting her to hardship on the streets, he decided to kill On Suk-won. He realized he wasn't as kind as Park Yang-tae. He was solely focused on saving the child. On the forum, he met On Suk-won's wife. Although she ultimately relented and didn't carry out the act, Lee Yoon-ho proceeded to kill On Suk-won himself. He explained that his discovery of Ha-na's younger brother was due to intuition and a ring. He believed that the most wicked individuals couldn't endure suffering. Min Ha-young was considered a founding member. The feeling of betrayal, Yoon-ho decided, would be hers to deal with. Their car left the city, heading towards a lighthouse by the sea. Yoon-ho revealed this was where his mother had abandoned him. Although he didn't know exactly when it happened, he wanted to return to the place. Police sirens grew louder. Yoon-ho forced Cha Woo-kyung out of the car. The police quickly surrounded them, dozens of guns aimed at Yoon-ho. Cha Woo-kyung assumed Yoon-ho was provoking the police and intended to commit suicide. But Yoon-ho insisted he would actually shoot. He advised Cha Woo-kyung to stop thinking about the girl in the green dress. If she remembered, she would become like him. Forgetting was better because she had seen what hell looked like. Cha Woo-kyung tried to reason with Yoon-ho. The gun barrel lowered, then rose again. Just as Yunho was about to fire, a shot rang out. A bullet struck him, fired by Kang Jae-hun. Solving the serial murder case should have been a major accomplishment, but Kang Jae-hun couldn't bring himself to celebrate. While Yunho was unforgivable, after firing the shot, his anger transformed into grief and pity. A few days later, Kang Jae-hun visited Yunho's grave. There, he encountered Jung, the boy who had set fire to his father and whom Yunho had taken under his wing. Jung insisted Yunho wasn't a murderer, Kang Jae-hun was. The children abused by their parents all believed Yunho had done the right thing. At that moment, Kang Jae-hun noticed a tattoo on Jung's arm, identical to the tattoo on the arm of the man who had driven the car that hit Jung's mother, the hit-and-run incident. Kang Jae-hun suspected they might be part of an organization. He went to the Department of Motor Vehicles to investigate and discovered that Jung, despite his financial difficulties and inability to reach a settlement initially, had suddenly produced 20 million won to resolve the case. A struggling international student suddenly having 20 million won. What seemed like a simple traffic accident now appeared connected to Red Cry. Furthermore, when Red Cry messaged Cha Woo-kyung, Yunho was clearly working at the children's center. Jae-hun had always felt that Yunho's overt actions were meant to conceal something. The case was closed, but doubts resurfaced. Cha Woo-kyung experienced flashes of memory about the girl in the green dress she was calling out to her younger sister in a garden. However, this sister looked completely different from the one in the photos. This discrepancy deeply unsettled her. So, she sought out Yoon Tae-ju. Guided by him, Cha Woo-kyung discovered she had no memories prior to the age of 7. Her supposed memories from before that time were fabricated by her father using photographs, leading Cha Woo-kyung to believe they were genuine. Although unsure if her memories held the same hellish experiences Yunho described, she still hoped Yoon Tae-ju could help her recover them. They scheduled a hypnosis session for a few days later. Afterwards, Cha Woo-kyung visited her sister in the hospital. She realized that, without a photograph left by her sister, neither of them would remember what their birth mother looked like. Meanwhile, Kang Jae-hun visited the boy, Jung, asking if he recognized the man in the photo, the one who hit his mother with his car. Jung confirmed he did, stating they were both part of a youth volunteer organization called Hemi. Since Lee Yun-ho was also involved with Hemi, they must have known each other beforehand. He encouraged Jung to live well, for Lee Yun-ho's sake. Next, Kang Jae-hun visited the mother of the boy injured in the accident. The woman explained she received 20 million won in compensation, on the condition that she meet the boy's sister, Young Hee-soo, 3 times. Though she initially worried about the emotional impact, she agreed because of the money. Unexpectedly, these meetings made her realize the potential joy of motherhood. She ultimately received the compensation as agreed. However, she couldn't recall the man's appearance clearly, only that he was slightly older than Kang Jae-hun and seemed well educated. Cha Woo-kyung visited On Suk-won's wife. They had received his life insurance payout and opened a small restaurant, living a much happier life. While chatting, Cha Woo-kyung noticed photos on the wall. One showed Lee Yun-ho taking them to a park performance. The date on the photo coincided with the day Red Crying had arranged to meet her at the square. This meant Red Crying wasn't just Lee Yun-ho alone. Her thoughts aligned with Kang Jae-hun's. Yun-ho had revealed just enough to be convicted, as if intentionally confessing to protect someone else. Furthermore, who told Yun-ho about the lighthouse, the place where he claimed his mother abandoned him? Cha Woo-kyung suspected it was either the person who first found him or a family member. How to perfectly hypnotize someone. First, close your eyes, inhale, and slowly exhale. Then, take another deep breath. You'll see a dark and narrow staircase before you. Then, step by step, time rewinds to childhood. Opening the first door, Cha Woo-kyung saw herself playing with her younger sister. Their young and beautiful stepmother approached. To please her, Cha Woo-kyung spoke sweetly. Beside her, her sister continued walking forward, step by step. Next, she opened the second door. Cha Woo-kyung had just returned home from school. Her father introduced the girl before her as her sister. However, after returning from her grandmother's house, this sister seemed different. When she tried to access memories from before her sister's visit to their grandmother, the door refused to open. At that moment, Cha Woo-kyung began gasping for breath, as if being choked. Yoon Tae-ju had to end the hypnosis prematurely. He advised her to learn control, as unearthing buried memories was never easy. Investigating Yoon-ho's family, Kang Jae-hun discovered he had an older brother. Because this brother had been adopted by an American family and lost his Korean citizenship, his records were expunged, and many documents were lost along with them. However, when his colleague investigated the Hemi volunteer organization, they discovered that, besides Yoon-ho serving as a counselor, Yoon Tae-ju had also worked there as a specialist. Most importantly, he was a counseling commissioner at the Children's Center. Kang Jae-hun immediately sought out Yoon Tae-ju. His answers to every question were oddly smooth, as if rehearsed. He even casually admitted to providing the compensation to the injured boy's mother, claiming he'd simply felt sympathy and offered extra money. Kang Jae-hun confronted him. "Where were you when I was beaten half to death?" Yoon Tae-ju claimed he was at a party. After returning to the police station to verify, they confirmed Yoon Tae-ju was indeed at a party. However, due to the large number of attendees, it was entirely possible he could have slipped out unnoticed. Elsewhere, Cha Woo-kyung, after extensive inquiries, finally located an acquaintance of her mother's. This person stated that while her mother was ill, she never sent her children to their grandmothers but cared for them herself. She immediately guessed the stepmother had lied. At the time, the stepmother had ruthlessly severed ties with her family, even preventing the grandmother from seeing her granddaughters. The stepmother's cruelty extended to abandoning her own child to raise someone else's. This surprised Cha Woo-kyung. It turned out her stepmother was a widow with a child of her own. At this point, the police received a report of a robbery and homicide. When Kang Jae-hun arrived at the scene, the victim's body had already been removed. The victim was Han Shi-won's father. According to Han Shi-won's mother, she heard a noise and went to investigate but was knocked unconscious. When she awoke, she discovered her husband stabbed to death and the cash from their safe stolen. Kang Jae-hun questioned why the alarm system hadn't triggered. The woman claimed the security cameras were broken and therefore deactivated. While ostensibly a robbery, the gold necklace around the woman's neck remained untouched. This raised Kang Jae-hun's suspicions. Upon returning home, Cha Woo-kyung immediately confronted her stepmother. Why did she lie about her sister staying at their grandmother's? Why did she hide the fact she had a child? The stepmother became agitated, claiming her mother's family was fabricating stories. A 24-year-old woman marrying a man with 2 children would naturally be viewed with suspicion. Everyone was watching her, and that was why Cha Woo-kyung's father severed ties with her family. Cha Woo-kyung started to think she'd misunderstood her stepmother, but the woman grew increasingly agitated and then collapsed. Cha Woo-kyung rushed her to the hospital. While waiting outside the emergency room, she received a message from Red Crying, asking if she wanted to know her sister's secret. Late that night, a man dressed in black taped a window, then smashed it with his elbow to break in. Hearing the noise, the homeowner came downstairs to investigate. The man in black stabbed him in the stomach, killing him instantly. He then knocked the victim's wife unconscious, stole 200 million won in cash from the safe, and fled. However, a key question remained: how did the perpetrator know the safe's combination? Also, the victim's wife hadn't been threatened. Investigating Han Shi-won's deceased father, Kang Jae-hun noticed something. 10 years prior, there had been a domestic violence report filed against him. However, the case was quickly dropped. Kang Jae-hun suspected this wasn't a simple robbery homicide. It seemed likely Red Crying had begun judging again. Meanwhile, Cha Woo-kyung received another message from Red Crying, offering to help her unlock the secrets within her, but she had to swear secrecy and keep the police out of it. Cha Woo-kyung agreed. The man in black stated the first step to uncovering the secret was to distrust her stepmother. Shortly after, the stepmother regained consciousness and learned her diagnosis. The doctor explained she had anemia. The most effective treatment was a bone marrow transplant or blood cell transfusion, but the stepmother refused, claiming she had no immediate family and simply wanted palliative care so she could pass away peacefully. Cha Woo-kyung and her sister were reminiscing. She asked her sister if she had any specific memories from their grandmother's house. Her sister only remembered a fire at a shopping mall. Cha Woo-kyung immediately searched online for information about the fire. It occurred in a place called Gwangju. Coincidentally, that was also her stepmother's hometown. Kang Jae-hun located the alarm system installer. The man stated that a few days prior, the woman had requested a system replacement due to a malfunction. The replacement took 2 days, coinciding with the time frame the perpetrator broke into the house, robbed, and murdered Han Shiwan's father. Confronted by Kang Jae-hun, the woman claimed she was knocked unconscious and knew nothing else. Jae-hun took her phone for further investigation. Later, Kang Jae-hun sought out Cha Woo-kyung to inquire about Han Shiwan's situation. Cha Woo-kyung explained that after his younger sister's car accident, Han Shiwan's personality became eccentric, unlike a typical child. His actions were often perplexing. Cha Woo-kyung also suspected a connection to red crying. They had used Han Shiwan as an example in a previous case. They were setting a trap for portraying his sister's car accident as child abuse by the father. Coincidentally, the victim in this current case was Han Shiwan's father. Jeon Soo-young's investigation revealed that Han Shiwan's sister didn't die in a car accident. Records showed the children were playing when Han Shiwan pushed his sister down the stairs, resulting in her death. Because Han Shiwan was under 10 years old at the time, he wasn't criminally charged. Checking the mother's phone revealed nothing unusual except for 3 calls to Yoon Tae-ju within the last month. Yoon Tae-ju claimed Han Shiwan was deeply traumatized by his sister's death and had been receiving treatment from him. When Kang Jae-hun asked about Yoon Tae-ju's alibi for the time of the murder, his demeanor hardened. He told Kang Jae-hun to get a warrant if he wanted to know. Kang Jae-hun and Cha Woo-kyung continued discussing Han Shiwan. Cha Woo-kyung then realized Han Shiwan had thrown himself down the stairs and even pushed a classmate down the stairs, all to test whether falling down the stairs was fatal. If his sister truly died from falling down the stairs, he wouldn't be so curious about it. To get Han Shiwan to reveal the truth, Cha Woo-kyung met with him privately. After careful coaxing, Han Shiwan finally confessed the secret he had been harboring. The man, in a fit of rage, had killed his own daughter and then forced his son to take the blame. If he didn't, his mother would also die. Han Shiwan had told the police he accidentally pushed his sister. He was bewildered that the adults believed him. This led him to experiment to see if a fall down the stairs was truly fatal. Every time his sister was beaten, Han Shiwan felt a sense of relief that it wasn't him. This made him feel like a bad child, guilty about his sister. Cha Woo-kyung comforted him, saying the truly bad people weren't him, but some adults. At the police station, Jeon Soo-young found a new clue. Han Shiwan's mother had transferred a large sum of money 2 days prior. The amount matched the money missing from the safe, meaning the thief was none other than Han Shiwan's mother. Kang Jae-hun had already sensed something was amiss. The perpetrator couldn't have known the safe's combination, but he hadn't suspected a family member. The woman claimed that after regaining consciousness, she discovered her husband dead. Fearing her in-laws would kick her out with no money, she took the money from the safe and hid it. Kang Jae-hun asked why she hadn't mentioned her husband's abuse. Was she afraid it would be linked to red crying? Hearing those words, the woman looked at Kang Jae-hun in surprise, clearly familiar with the term. Kang Jae-hun detailed red crying's methods, causing the woman's psychological defenses to crumble. She confessed she hadn't mentioned wanting her husband dead. She only mentioned wanting to take her son to a hospital in America to work. She claimed to know nothing about the break-in or robbery. Meanwhile, someone helping Cha Woo-kyung investigate uncovered a clue. Her stepmother's mother had died 5 years ago. Records showed no other children, but she briefly cared for a niece before her death. This period coincided with the Wangchu shopping mall fire. To help their stepmother find a bone marrow match, Cha Woo-kyung and her sister underwent testing. The results quickly came back. Her sister and stepmother were more than a half match. A transplant was possible. Such compatibility usually only occurs between parent and child, implying her current sister was her stepmother's biological daughter. To find her real sister, Cha Woo-kyung revisited Yoon Tae-ju for hypnotherapy. She regressed to the first day she met her stepmother. Happy to have a mother, she called for her sister. A little girl in a green dress ran to her. Cha Woo-kyung finally remembered this was her real sister. Knowing her stepmother's obsession with cleanliness, she always tried to be tidy and please her. But her younger sister didn't understand and was often beaten for making messes. One time, her sister wore a green dress their biological mother had given her. An argument ensued, and the stepmother dragged both girls away, tore the dress off her younger sister, and dragged her upstairs to beat her. Cha Woo-kyung felt fortunate it wasn't her being beaten. She deliberately turned up the TV to drown out her sister's cries. That night, she found her sister lying next to her in bed. But she couldn't wake her, her body was ice cold. Cha Woo-kyung repeatedly called her sister's name. Her emotional distress in the present became intense, forcing Yoon Tae-ju to end the hypnosis and bring her back to reality. An investigation into the American hospital where Han Shi-won's mother was going to work revealed that its founder had adopted a child, Yoon Tae-ju. Comparing photos confirmed he was Yoon-ho's older brother. The psychiatrist hypnotized the detective, rhythmically tapping his pen against the chair as he guided the man deeper into his subconscious. Images of gunfire flashed through Kang Jae-hun's mind. His eyes glazed over, tears streaming down his face. But just as he was about to succumb to hypnosis, he suddenly snapped out of it, grabbing Yoon Tae-ju's collar and yelling at him to stop. Rewinding a few hours, Yoon Tae-ju had been brought to the station for questioning. His brother was dead, yet he seemed unfazed. Yoon Tae-ju claimed he'd recognized his brother a few months prior, but they hadn't seen each other in years. They exchanged only brief pleasantries. Later, his brother was identified as the murderer. To protect his professional reputation, he hadn't disclosed their relationship. He denied any involvement in the serial killings. Lacking concrete evidence, Kang Jae-hun released him after questioning. Cha Woo-kyung returned home. She congratulated her stepmother on her newfound longevity, thanks to a biological daughter with matching bone marrow. She asked how she felt treating her own daughter like an adopted child and allowing her to take her real daughter's place. The stepmother claimed she'd lived her life walking on eggshells, wanting to be a good mother. But she'd accidentally lost Cha Woo-kyung's sister at an amusement park and subsequently took in her own daughter. Perhaps burdened by a lifetime of secrets, she continued to lie. Cha Woo-kyung now remembered everything her stepmother had killed her sister. The stepmother claimed that on the day her sister wouldn't wake up, Cha Woo-kyung's father rushed her to the hospital, where she was diagnosed with acute pneumonia and subsequently entrusted to someone else's care. But having just claimed to have lost her, the stepmother now contradicted herself, revealing her lies. Kang Jae-hun told Cha Woo-kyung that Yoon Tae-ju was Yoon-ho's older brother. He believed Yoon Tae-ju was the red crying spirit and therefore could understand Cha Woo-kyung's thoughts, having also treated both Han-na and Han Shi-won. Even though Kang Jae-hun knew Cha Woo-kyung didn't want to believe him, he reminded her to be careful of Jun. That evening, upon returning home, Cha Woo-kyung discovered her stepmother had collapsed due to a serious illness. She rushed her stepmother to the hospital, determined to find out where her biological sister was and to hold her stepmother accountable. Cha Woo-kyung needed to keep her alive. So, Cha Woo-kyung went to her half-sister, who was lying in a hospital bed, and begged her to donate blood cells to her stepmother. She also told the red crying spirit about her stepmother's critical condition. The spirit said that she shouldn't just focus on her stepmother's words. If she thought carefully, she could figure out how to perfectly hide a child. Cha Woo-kyung also consulted Kang Jae-hun, as a police officer, about the best way to hide a body. Kang Jae-hun said that usually, people hide things in plain sight, so they can see them at any time. Doing so would definitely be safer than moving them away. He told Cha Woo-kyung that if she did find her sister's body, when she felt the gates of hell opening, hell descending, she must call him. Afterwards, Cha Woo-kyung returned home, found the house blueprints, and started checking each room. Suddenly, she noticed the fireplace in front of her. The fireplace wasn't on the blueprints. Since she was little, her father had never let them near it. Cha Woo-kyung used all her strength to pry open the wooden panel and then the floor tiles. Then, using her hands, she dug down. Upon seeing the green dress in the bag, Cha Woo-kyung couldn't help but burst into tears. At that moment, she recalled what Yoon-ho had said earlier. When she remembered the pain of the past, hell would officially begin. She dragged her stepmother to the fireplace. Seeing what was before her, her stepmother recoiled in fear and knelt down. Finally, she confessed the secret she had kept hidden for 30 years. Back then, after hitting Cha Woo-kyung's sister, she had bathed her. Everything seemed normal. She even changed her into the green dress she loved to wear. But unexpectedly, the little girl went to sleep and never woke up. Cha Wu Kyung, terrified, had also fainted. The next day, when her father called for Cha Wu Kyung, he discovered she had lost her memory. The stepmother then passed off her own child as Cha Wu Kyung's sister. From then on, the stepmother had endured suffering and pressure, never even truly smiling. This suffering, to Cha Wu Kyung, was nothing compared to what her biological sister had endured. A 5-year-old child had been buried like that for 30 years. Cha Wu Kyung became increasingly agitated. She smashed all the photos on the fireplace, then picked up a hammer, slowly raising it, wanting to finish off this cruel woman. But just as the hammer was about to strike her stepmother, a small hand gripped her tightly. Cha Wu Kyung dropped the hammer and looked back. It was her biological sister standing there. Her sister then stroked her face to comfort her. Cha Wu Kyung cried and apologized for not taking good care of her. After calming down, Cha Wu Kyung called Kang Jae-hun. She decided to leave everything to the police. Her stepmother confessed her crime, but due to the statute of limitations, the result was no prosecution. The red crying spirit asked Cha Wu Kyung if she was satisfied. The stepmother no longer needed to hide anything, and had returned to a normal life. But Cha Wu Kyung now carried her burden. She was sad every day and couldn't sleep at night. Every time she saw her stepmother and her half-sister together, Cha Wu Kyung remembered her own sister, making it unbearable that her stepmother was still alive. So, that night, Cha Wu Kyung sent the maid home first, then said goodbye to her stepmother and left. Sitting in the car, she sent a message to the Red Cry. The message said that she was ready. So at midnight, the man in black used the same method, breaking the glass to enter the house. Just as he was about to do it, Cha Wu Kyung called him back, and this man in black was Yoon Tae-ju. Yoon Tae-ju asked her if she had changed her mind. Cha Wu Kyung said that her thoughts had never changed. She hated her, even wanted to kill her. But if she let someone else's life end, the sin would be too great. She herself was not pure, and she had no right to judge others. The lights suddenly turned on. Kang Jae-hun and Jeon Soo-young rushed in with guns. With clear evidence, Yoon Tae-ju was arrested by law. He confessed that he killed Han Shi-won's father, and also admitted that he was the Red Cry. Yoon-ho often had a bad dream, so he often had insomnia. He sought out Yoon Tae-ju for treatment. When he hypnotized Yoon-ho, he saw what Yoon-ho had gone through, and at that time, he was even angrier than Lee Yoon-ho. From then on, Yoon Tae-ju was responsible for collecting information, and Yoon-ho was responsible for carrying it out. He personally tried Han Shi-won's father and Cha Wu Kyung's stepmother. Because when Yoon-ho recounted the hell he had gone through, Yoon Tae-ju was glad that it wasn't him. This was similar to what Cha Wu Kyung and Han Shi-won thought, but they both felt guilty. In the end, the case was cleared up. A few days later, Cha Wu Kyung and Kang Jae-hun visited the fireplace together.